This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You're working from home. You settle in with a cup of coffee, ready to get the day started. Before you look at that to-do list, turn on your favorite Odyssey sports station on your smart speaker. We'll keep you company and bring you the latest updates from your teams while you tackle your inbox or get ready for another meeting that probably could have been an email. Power through the workday with the entertaining sports coverage you love from the local voices you trust. Just ask your smart speaker to play your favorite station.
Are you a bartender that dreads the phrase, "Hey, can you put the game on?" At Sports on What, we understand your pain and we're here to help. Over-the-air, satellite, cable, or streaming, Sports on What knows what channel the game is on, and you can too. Follow your favorite teams, set alerts, and filter by provider to get the results you need. Stop wasting time searching and never miss kickoff again. Just download the Sports on What app, and you'll always know how to watch the game. Available for Android and iOS. Start your 7-day free trial when you download Sports on What and subscribe today.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. As Miles said, we go to Massachusetts, where first responders were forced to get creative after 8 bulls escaped from the rodeo. Now, amazingly, no one was injured, but authorities, they still had to warn people not to approach the animals, which proved to be an easy ask, as rodeo bulls are notoriously ornery. Now, as of last night, 7 of the 8 bulls had been captured. No one quite sure where that last one is. Now, a different story in Colorado. That's where 14 mules escaped from their pen there and enjoyed about 2 hours of freedom before being rounded back up. Meanwhile, north of the border in Canada, police were called to an elementary school after 2 pigs escaped from Star's Piggly Wiggly Sanctuary. That's right. No. One pig was caught with relative ease, but the second pig proved to be more elusive, dodging 5 police officers and a dozen adults for over an hour. But the best part is that the group of elementary school children were cheering the pig on, making the whole thing much more chaotic. And in St. Paul Island, Alaska, there's also a search for an animal, but just one, a rat. Rats apparently invasive there, and for the last 3 months, authorities have been looking for it because someone may have seen it. Keep in mind, the last time that the island had a rat, they spent a full year looking for the thing before it finally died of natural causes. Either way, these are just some of the stories we've come across, stories that left us with many questions we'd like to ask you in the form of our random question, and this is how it works. You call us, we ask you a question at complete random. And after you share your answer, we will share with you the news story that inspired said question.
Be part of the big show, the Random Question. Call 206-803-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You're working from home. You settle in with a cup of coffee, ready to get the day started. Before you look at that to-do list, turn on your favorite Odyssey sports station on your smart speaker. We'll keep you company and bring you the latest updates from your teams while you tackle your inbox or get ready for another meeting that probably could have been an email. Power through the workday with the entertaining sports coverage you love from the local voices you trust. Just ask your smart speaker to play your favorite station.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
All the Charles, away we go. Welcome to season 19, episode number 4185. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. The exciting return of your guess is as good as mine. Categories wise, we're going to cities. All right. This time around, we have 2024's Best Coffee Cities. National Coffee Day, I believe, was last week. The retail coffee market is worth around $49 billion a year.
And that's just buying like 4 drinks from Starbucks.
Here in the United States. So they compared the 100 largest cities across 12 key indicators of a strong coffee culture. Data set ranges from coffee shops, coffee houses, cafes per capita, to the average price per pack of coffee, to the share of residents with coffee makers at home. And they came up with the 10 best cities for coffee lovers here in the United States of America.
All right.
Then we get this one, which comes as a bit of a surprise to people living in the Pacific Northwest. We have America's top pizza cities. A new study came out, and they looked at pizza quality, variety, and consumer interest around the United States of America. And they had a bunch of different key findings on there as far as the number of pizza places, the different styles of pizza, Yelp reviews as far as how those places do, the number of takeout, the number of delivery. You get the idea. So it's either going to be pizza or coffee today. On your guess is as good as mine. Also update some locations for you on the Men's Room IPA from Black Raven Brewing. I'll continue to send those in. Please send us a picture if you happen to see the beer on draft, or you happen to find it in your local convenience store, grocer, whatever the deal is. We do have a partial list at KISW.com, but believe it or not, the distribution increases by the week.
It really does.
So if you happen to find it, please just shoot us an email, and we will spread the word there on the social medias and everything else to make sure that get you the closest hopeful location in your area if you're looking to pick up a 6-pack of that. And today is the day that we do our random question, 206-803-ROCK.
Random.
Hello, Gulliver. Welcome to the Men's Room.
What's happening, guys?
Hola. Gulliver, welcome to the program and the random question. All right, let's see here. Okay. Gulliver, have you ever had an animal get loose, lost a pet for a brief period of time? Or, you turn around and your dog or cat are gone and you don't see him for a couple days?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like weekly basis with my dog.
A weekly basis. What kind of dog is it?
Retarded. He is a, what is he, pit bull?
All right.
Lab and boxer mix.
All right. So what is his deal? He disappears time and time again?
Yeah, he's an escape artist. So he'll get through a fence, either under it or through it, over it. He'll, I got a harness for him and tied him up, and he gets out of that. Yeah, no matter what I do, he just likes to run around.
How long have you had the dog?
5 or 6 years.
All right. Do you have a number on his collar so that anyone who finds him could call you and go, hey, man, I think I found your dog?
Yeah, he's got a tag. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's important.
Come, like when he's called, he doesn't come. He just runs around, and then I got to leave my gate open so he'll come home.
Now, have you ever, as a result of leaving your gate open, have you ever looked out in your yard and there's an animal that's not yours that's now enjoying your property?
No.
Do you have a cat door?
No cat doors.
Okay.
No dog doors.
All right.
Does your dog, now when you say the dog runs off, does it have a particular spot it likes to go, or is it just a crapshoot each time?
Yeah, we moved now, but when we were in a little neighborhood, it would visit all the different houses that had dogs in their yard.
Okay, yeah, that helps.
And say hi to them through the fence.
All right. So he's just basically going out to be cordial.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
just roam around, say hi.
Okay. Well, as long as, then no one thinks he's a threat and, calls the cops or whatever the deal is. I mean, that's the most important thing. Because typically if you see even if I see a dog wandering around Fremont, I'm like, that's not right. So you try to, it's a busy area. There's a lot of streets like anything else. That's just not typically how people in Seattle or in the area. You just can't let your dogs loose like they seem to do when we were growing up.
Yeah, I mean, most people just don't now.
Right.
I will say this. My dog used to run off when she was younger, and I realized the trick of getting her to not run off. Stop looking for her. There's one day it irritated me, and I said, look, I'm not, because kids came running in. Mm-hmm. Dog got out, took off down the street. I said, well, that's too bad for her. And they're looking at me. I said, dude, I've done this like 100 times. I'm not doing it ever. She knows where she lives. Sure enough, maybe 3 minutes later, she's back at the door, but the look on her face is like she's upset because she realized nobody went to look for her. I said, do not go look for that goddamn dog. She knows where she lives. She'll be back. If she does take off and you go looking for her and you're actively yelling her name, Oh, it's 10, 15, 20 minutes. I'm like, if she knows we're looking, she's having fun somewhere, but we can never find where she is. So I'm like, stop looking for her. She comes home every time in less than 5 minutes.
Tigger was the exact same way.
Yeah, no,
right? Like the first year or two we have him. Like, I mean, if the door, because he was Scottish Terrier, so if the door was open even a little bit, he'd take off. And then I don't know if it was my mom, my brother, somebody finally, same thing. And you're right. He'd run down the street and then run back.
Yep.
And if we couldn't find him, he was down the street trying to get it on with Zuzu.
Which I understand, man. If you can get laid, like, go get laid. But I had a cat, the one that I didn't want but ended up in the breakup kind of thing. And the cat snuck outside, and I'm trying to coax the cat in. And cats are infinitely worse than dogs, trying to coax them in anything, right? And the cat, what would irritate me, at least when the dog takes off, like, she disappears, you know. She knows to go into the trees, and I'm like, all right, she's around ever. The cat, they're maybe 8 feet away from you. But they're fast enough. Every time you take a step, they just keep that same distance. Yep. And I'm like, you know what, man? Because I just wanted to go to bed. I got to work the next morning. I'm like, you know what? F you, man. Close the door. I'm done with this. And I went to bed. And I didn't care. About 4:30 in the morning, there's a window directly over my bed. And, and I'm like, so I open the door or open the window. I'm happy to see the cat and all that. But I'm like, man, you've never even been on this side of this building where we live. So
I wonder how the cat knew.
I don't know, because she went out through, quote unquote, the back door. Had only ever gone out the back door. And this is a condo. So even if you went out the front door, you're in a building. You're not outside. My window obviously faces outside, but on the opposite side, where she'd never been. And she figured it out. So I opened my window, and she came in. And then we did this probably for about the next 4 years.
Yep.
I knew at 11:30 she was going to dart outside. Like, I'm not chasing you. I don't know what you're up to. And then every morning, roughly 4:30, tap on the window. I could just open it. She'd plop down in the bed. And I'm like, all right, we have that understanding. But there was one morning I get up, and there's this German lady that lives somewhere on the property, very nice. And she had a dog, a chow named Honey. And I remember she taps on my back door. I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? I just recognize her from walking around. I don't know her, though. And she goes, yes, your cat and Honey, they have gotten to know each other these last few months. They got into it. She basically was returning the cat's claw that she removed from her dog's
Oh, no.
Yeah, from her dog's cheek, right? So I'm kind of like, oh, God, man. She's like, no. Honey has to learn the lesson. So I just looked at her dog like, cats are faster than you. Yeah. That is the lesson you need to know.
I had a cat that would go out on the balcony of a apartment I had in Pasadena, Maryland, and just loved to sit out there and watch birds and everything else. My wife let the cat out, my favorite cat in the world, Big Kitty. Big Kitty jumped off the balcony. Oh. And the thing is, where these apartments were, they were right in between three pretty major highways, the way we were situated.
Yeah.
So we were on 100, this highway, and Ritchie Highway, which is another highway. We were kind of just pigeoned in. Trust me, you couldn't go to bed there with the window open. It was so loud.
Right.
But the cat, I combed those areas and looked around to see if I could see where the cat was, called the cat and everything else. Pretty sure my downstairs neighbor, Bernie, who enjoyed smoking crack, gave the cat to his daughter for like a birthday or something, or just...
Oh, yeah, you told me that. Like, he found your cat.
Yeah.
And then gave it to his daughter.
Yeah.
But he knew it was your cat, right?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Not like he just found a cat. He knew he found your cat.
Or he found out after the fact and didn't say anything. Because one time we were down there hanging out, he just got kind of clammed up. I'm like, have you seen my big kitty? He's like, what did Kitty look like? And I'm like, oh, real long hair, big, coon.
The one your daughter had.
Maine coon looking thing. Yeah, no. Yeah, exactly. Ray's asked, have you ever had an animal or a pet get loose on you? First responders in a Massachusetts city had to exercise some impromptu roundup skills when 8 bulls escaped from a rodeo being held in the parking lot of a mall on Sunday. Video posted captured
There's your
the
problem.
moment.
That video is unbelievable.
The bulls escaped from a rodeo in North Attleboro. Animals charged through the crowded parking lot, knocked down a fence, bumped against a tent, and rumbled toward busy U.S. Highway 1. They eventually headed for some nearby woods for short-lived freedom. Fortunately, no one was hurt during the breakout. The North Attleboro Fire Department issued a warning. These rodeo bulls are not playing around. Community members should exercise extreme caution and not approach any bull. 7 of the 8 were corralled by late Sunday afternoon. One of them was still on the lam. The festival rodeo at the Emerald Square Mall was shut down, officials said. How the bulls escaped under investigation.
Have you not seen it?
Through the town.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't blame anybody in that parking lot. I would not try to stop those bulls.
No.
Oh, dude, they just knocked the fence down like it wasn't there. They just take off running. There's a fence. You think they might stop. They don't stop at all. They just one fence after the other like dominoes.
I'm just worried. It hasn't happened yet, But look, the Woodland Park Zoo, they're going to have something break out of there. I don't know what it's going to be.
I was literally just about to bring up that rodeos seem like the real life version of what we talk about when it comes to zoos. How there's like nothing in between these animals.
And
they just.
I'm not sure what the animal you would most not want to escape from that zoo. But I'm sure as soon as I read the list of animals that are on display, I would find it pretty quickly. I do remember there was like a red pedigree falcon.
I think that's the worst for them because trying to catch a bird is difficult if it wants to fly.
They got loose. Okay, so you have these 2 or 3 employees in the Woodland Park Zoo, and they are basically running down Woodland Avenue or Wallingford Avenue, trying to chase this falcon who's jumping from tree to tree. The problem is, and I'm not kidding,
it's a bird.
Crows don't care. They don't care if you're a bald eagle. They don't care if you're a Boeing airplane. They will go after it.
Right.
And they are dive bombing this thing. There's 3 or 4 of them just going after it. Every time it goes from tree to tree to tree, you know where the thing is because all you got to do is follow the crows. Because, one dude looks like the falcon. He's wearing too much.
Yeah.
He's wearing way too much leather that's necessary for the summertime. He's
really, really tight clothes.
Got a weird hat on. He looks like he's kind of like
giant glove.
Yeah, like he's like Robin Hood or Peter Pan's friend.
Oddly coiffed mustache.
He's got like a feather in his hat. Just a weird book in his pant pocket. Just that dude, right? But he's all got this big sheath on his arm. So he's just got that look. And then you got like 2 other ladies in like red vests, like running down the street, and they were calling to the bird. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, yeah, right. This bird's going to, I'm sure they got it wrangled back in.
Are you?
I'm going to assume.
Because if they have more than one, look, it's a bird, and it's a bird that can fly. So if it doesn't want to be caught, it's just not going to be caught, right? If you don't get it back and you have more than one, you don't necessarily have to tell anyone, right? Because it's not going to put people in danger. And if you go to the zoo, they still have this thing that you thought there might be one less. I would guess, my personal opinion, as far as escape from the zoo, lions, bad. Because big cats
I'm going to pull up the list over the break. I want to see what's in there.
But I think, do they have primates? They have like gorillas and stuff, man.
Right now?
At the Woodland Park, they have some primates.
I think they have a gorilla, don't they? I'm pretty sure I smelled that.
I don't think they have totally poisonous snakes because they say, here's a dangerous creature in the world.
Venomous,
yeah.
What do you mean not totally? I'm just partially venomous.
It's a mirror. So obviously humans, you get the idea. Now we have a pair of sister mules. I wonder how they got their names. Dolly and Jolene. They masterminded the breakout that led to 14 mules running through a Colorado mountain town. They say restless in the off-season between summer wagon rides and winter sleigh rides, 14 mules from the Frisco Adventure Park staged a breakout this past Thursday and cruised around town for 2 hours before being caught. 2 mules in particular, 2 sisters named Dolly and Jolene, led the great escape, according to the mule manager from 2 Below Zero. They were the ones that masterminded this entire escape, and they were the last ones to be caught. They're the ones that are the brains of the operation. They took it upon themselves to go find the pasture. Now, sometimes known as dumb creatures, mules actually extremely smart. Dolly and Jolene were pretty much able to disassemble the pen at the adventure park by lifting up on a panel. They say usually this time of the year, the mules will be put out to pasture, but they recently lost its pasture lease, and they have not been able to find a new one, leaving the mules to remain in their pen through the fall. We lost our lease. We've been used for many years, so they are unfortunately still in the pen for the off-season. So they're getting a little antsy, and I think that is what contributed to the breakout. It was 2:30 in the afternoon when Summit County Sheriff's Office got a call for horses, later identified as mules, running across Colorado Highway 9. Deputies responded. 2 of them were horse owners that ended up being the right people actually for the job. Main goal was just to get the mules off the highway and hopefully not pose a safety hazard to them or oncoming vehicles. 14 horses is funny, and it was kind of beautiful with the backdrop of the fall season, but it is a serious incident. It's a legitimate public safety call. While most of the mules stayed together, 2 older mules stay behind. She explained that the mules form teams of 2, usually siblings, that will pull together and cannot be mixed and matched.
I did not know that. Well, to be fair,
I didn't know.
Most things about mules I don't know, including that.
I know it's a great animal.
I've heard that, but
Right.
like that's like smart, loyal, all those kind of things.
Right. It's got like the size of the horse, but like the advantages of a donkey you want.
Because I met a donkey, and man, Pokey, man, we were tight. But I don't know much difference about the behavior of a donkey and a mule. Sorry for my ignorance. I don't know.
If you go to West Point, like their mascot is the mule, United States Military Academy. So you're like, hey, it's got to be a useful animal.
Right. Or tasty.
Just know that the saying "stubborn as a mule" is there for a reason.
Yes.
Well, believe it or not, people were actually able to approach them and put halters around them, then tie them to a tree until a horse trailer was brought in to shuttle them back to Adventure Park. Adventure Park, of all names.
I know. I read the same thing.
Like the one in New Jersey. They stayed uncaught for longer than the rest. The two did, as they were sneaking around and trying not to be caught. They were definitely more worked up than the rest because they knew they were in trouble. Not that we would scold them, but they knew they were not supposed to do that. Dolly and Jolene. The mule pen has been repaired to prevent the mules from escaping in the future. They said they're continuing to look for a pasture. They said, look, they really do enjoy their job, especially with the sled riding season coming up. They're bred to like working, to have energy to do their job. They do not want to be in a pen all day. If they didn't like their job, they wouldn't do it. There's no forcing these animals to do anything that they don't want to do. But that day, they didn't want to stay in Adventure Park. More of the random question coming.
The best thing about the Seattle International Auto Show is everything. It's the best place to turn questions into answers. Compare the newest models from major manufacturers, gas power, hybrid, and EV, all under one roof. See them, touch them, drive them at the Seattle International Auto Show, presented by BECU. Live at Lumen Field Event Center, Thursday through Sunday, November 14th through 17th. Discover your drive. For tickets and info, visit SeattleAutoShow.com today.
Up 206-803-ROCK.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Random question 206-803-ROCK.
You're checking out, Woodland Park Zoo, see what things might escape. I just did a quick search here. All right, these aren't in the full, just the headlines from this year. Basically, most dangerous zoo escapes. Monkeys, bears, something I've never heard of before, and something else. Britain zoo animals escape more often than you think. That's from this year. 2 weeks ago in Texas. Texas on high alert over fears dangerous beasts can cross border after escaping zoo in Mexico. It's a tiger. This was only 2 weeks ago. I would just assume that maybe they found it. Let's see. Zoo visitors evacuated and sent into lockdown after emergency alarm sparks a baboon escape. Ooh, which for my money is one of the worst. And then, oh man, where is it? This is from the Daily Mail in England. Is this America's most dangerous zoo? Shocking video shows zookeeper being chased by a grizzly bear inside of the enclosure.
I saw a zookeeper in China being attacked by a panda bear. And I thought they were typically a little bit more docile, but...
Is that attacking them or just not leaving them alone?
Biting leg, trying to play. But she was still having a hard time getting away from this thing as it rolled and tumbled all over. Because she's got a look of panic on her face. And at times she's kind of like laughing for whatever reason.
Right.
But it still did not look like she was comfortable. And she scattered off and ran as fast as she could. But she was in there with the panda before that. And then all of a sudden, just bang. He came over. I was like, all right, I'm going to grab your leg.
That's just one of those animals that's not instilled.
Woodland Park Zoo is up on Finney Ridge, so it's in a pretty highly populated area of Seattle. Yeah. You consider Green Lake, Greenwood, Ballard, Fremont, Wallingford, all these areas. Here are some of the animals that could escape. We have the gorilla.
Nope, not dealing with it.
Gorilla is definitely there, and that is a gorilla. This is like a gorilla.
Yeah, I'm looking at that, but that is a straight-up gorilla. What do you do if there's a gorilla?
I don't know.
I know you don't make eye contact and all that, but like you open your back door, just assume this is in your yard. I have opened my door. Here's your escaped gorilla. I mean, do you offer it food? Do you try to scare it?
Yeah. Castle's actually in the Woodland Park Zoo zone. He would be faced with one of these animals if they got loose. Hypothetically here, we're saying if something got loose from the Woodland Park Zoo, what do you not want to find in your yard? And you have a very luscious big backyard. I'm sure
you got a yard they'd want to visit.
Yeah.
Anything that would eat me, probably.
I'm telling you, I think it's
or anything that would eat one of my dogs.
Would you rather be eaten or beaten to death? Like, here's my thing. So a gorilla not going to eat you, but the idea of having my arms ripped out of their sockets.
Don't monkeys and gorillas don't they eat you from the crotch first?
Well,
that's chimpanzees. Rip your genitalia.
So definitely not a chimpanzee.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think they have those. I did not see that on the list. Jaguar. Jaguars are they're native to North America, I believe, in Florida, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
that's why you have the Florida Jaguar or the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right.
All right.
You got Panthers, yeah.
Panthers are also down there.
Panthers.
I don't feel any better knowing that, we all share the same country. I think I'd rather deal with that than a gorilla.
Yeah, and I feel like if a big cat escapes, like it might get close to you, but generally it's still a cat, so it doesn't really want to mess with you too much.
But there's a difference, Ted. Here's my argument, and I don't know this by any stretch, but I feel like a jaguar maybe wants to attack my kids or my dog, but not me so much because it's not that bit. Or if it's a lion or a tiger, and it's racist. But yeah, if it's a lion or a tiger, like it's going to eat.
Okay, they have orangutan. So I would say that this would be the one, as far as the big creatures go, that I would want to encounter the most.
It might be kind of cool.
They have a friendlier looking disposition. I'm not sure that that's necessarily true.
But it's their strength. I don't know what their triggers are. You're right. They're pretty low key, fairly docile, but I don't know what I accidentally did to trigger the sun. Like if it sees your teeth, apparently it freak out.
Okay.
In any of these cases, I don't think I would think it was real if I saw it. I mean,
That's
imagine
true.
if you saw a giraffe in your backyard, I would instantly go acid flashback.
Have you seen the picture of the pet orangutan that's got his own golf cart and he drives around in Florida in a golf community?
No, he's got to be at the villages.
He's got one arm up like this, man. He's driving like he's got a suicide knob on the wheel with one hand.
But he honestly checks
and
for
he's
traffic.
Cruising around.
Right, he
looking
knows
at-
what he's doing.
And he's not the most hairy dude in that community.
No, he's
Sadly
not.
not.
Enough, yeah.
We also have a Malayan tiger.
Nope.
African lion. Zebra, which we found out from the folks up in North Bend, can be somewhat dangerous as far as what they're able to attack.
Well, they said, look, man, zebras, their nature is to try to defend themselves from lions. So they're going to have very little trouble with you if you get close enough.
Hippos.
Yeah, no.
They have a giraffe.
I'm telling you, the hippos is the one you should be most scared about.
Okay.
The problem is that my
but
wife...
they're going to go down to Green Lake.
They would.
They're going to do a lot of bad
They're
damage.
going to go wherever the hell they want.
Good
You're
point.
right. They probably would go to Green Lake, but inevitably, if they want to go to 7-Eleven, that's where the hippo's going to go.
The problem is if there's a doggone hippo in my backyard, my wife's going to go nuts. She's going to be scared and stay inside. However, she's going to be jacked that there's a hippo in the backyard.
I think most people would, quote unquote, go nuts if they discovered a hippo. I mean,
She loves hippos, though.
Well, what do you do with a giraffe? I mean, who knows what the hell they're going to do?
They
could be as friendly as hell, or they could take that neck and just knock you out.
They could,
but I'm not approaching it, and I don't feel like the giraffe, even if it made it determined it doesn't like me, right? I don't feel like it's going to try to break through my windows or doors to come get my ass, as where a gorilla, if he's mad at me, that's the end.
I would just have to worry about my dog rushing the giraffe.
Do you think your dog would be dumb enough to rush a giraffe?
Yes,
Really?
he would. Because he likes other animals, and he rushes up on him like an idiot. He's a smart dog. That is the dumbest thing that he does is he rushes up on animals.
I mean,
that's how he's gotten skunked twice.
My dog likes. I just feel like if they looked at a giraffe, you wouldn't recognize the scent. You don't know what it is, but just the sheer size says,
He might not
Molly,
care.
keep your damn mouth shut.
They have boas, pythons, and anacondas. My assumption is that these animals got so big in private captivity that they're at the zoo based on their size for a reason. They're also very difficult to spot in the wild. Even though some can be 16, 18 feet long, they do a very good job of getting into the sewer systems, whatever they have to do, so that they cannot be detected. Then you have tarantulas, rhinos, snow leopards, brown bears, lynx, Komodo dragon.
That's a bad one.
That's a bad one, too.
And monkeys. So all
Brown
those
bears, too. It's like we have mostly black bears around here.
Yeah.
Which, for the most part, don't want to interact with humans. But like a brown bear, I feel like it's like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah, it's on, bro.
Random.
I also feel like most of those animals, I don't have much of an issue other than the fact that they're in my area. I just got to keep an eye out. A tarantula, that damn thing's coming into my house. Because there's spiders all over the doggone place, and they make their way into my house. The tarantula can do the same damn thing. I'm going to be in the doggone bathroom, sitting down, doing my morning business, and there's going to be a freaking tarantula on the side of the window.
Would you rather that, or your wife lets you know that when you open the bathroom door, there's a lion on the other side? He doesn't know you're in the bathroom, but if you open that door, you got to deal with a
Why would a
lion.
lion be in my bathroom?
I don't know. Maybe
What
I had
is
to
this,
go.
Jumanji?
Hello, Gary. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello, my brother.
Gary, welcome to the
What you
program.
guys do?
Yeah, man.
Long-time listener.
Well,
thank
welcome
you.
to the show.
We appreciate that, man. All right, let's see here.
In the
Okay,
men's room.
you get to pick one. All right. Now think very carefully about this. If you had the time and money was not an issue and time was not an issue, would you rather hike the Appalachian Trail or do a 45-minute Navy SEAL workout. Again, the Appalachian Trail is going to take probably most of your summer.
Do you have to complete both? In other words, you can't quit.
You have to do the 45-minute Navy SEAL workout.
I'm doing the trail.
Okay.
What are you doing?
All right, here we go. I spent 20 years in the military as a combat air crewman. Been there, done that. I'm going to hike because, the SEAL workout, that was a daily thing for a while. So, yeah, I'm hiking, brother.
What was the worst part of the SEAL workout?
Oh, good morning, darling. That's where you lay on your back, hands behind your head, lift up your legs 6 inches, and just swim until you puke.
So you swing your legs back and forth, or you bicycle with them?
Up and down like you're swimming until you puke.
And so you puke. So that's okay. And is there a time limit that you have before you? In other words, if I puke in 10 seconds, am I in trouble, or is it just like, hey man, that's exactly how long I need it?
Yeah, you're probably going to get frowned upon by your brothers.
All right. The Appalachian Trail, by the way, 2,197 miles.
It's long, but I got all summer to do it.
Yeah.
And as dumb as that sounds, I would rather spend my summer doing that. And I have no interest in doing that, but I'd rather do that than just 45 minutes of SEAL training.
Okay.
Yeah, no fun, trust me.
I think it'd be, okay, look, the Appalachian Trail, despite the physical, just brutalness that thing puts, as far as the blisters on your feet, there are places to stop along the way. The Appalachian Trail is also notorious for absolute freak weirdos.
Oh, yeah.
That either live in the area or are hiking on the trail. And there's a reason that a lot of those, other than the outdoor enthusiasts, there's a reason a lot of people take that route to avoid being seen, to avoid, for whatever reason that's going on.
You know the reason.
Well, they're up to something.
How long have the authorities been looking for you?
Exactly. But there are stopping points along the way. There are people that have food. There are water supplies along the way.
Sure.
There's basically everything you need to do to complete the trek, which is all pretty well off, not too far off the trail or on it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a little mini highway. Every day you have at least the opportunity to stop twice at some place if you need to.
Yeah, I would do that. No, I mean, and look, just 45 minutes of SEAL training seems a lot different than 45 minutes of pretty much anything else.
The average hiker takes around 6 months to complete the 2,200-mile Appalachian Trail. Endurance athlete Tara Dower did it in 6 weeks. She is 31 years old, and she set the new fastest known time just before midnight on Saturday, this weekend, when she reached the trail's southern end in Georgia. She completed the trek from Maine in 40 days, 18 hours, and 5 minutes, beating the record set by a Belgian runner named Carol Sabe in 2018. She beat Carol by 13 hours.
Damn.
But Sabe went north to south. Dower's time is the fastest anyone has completed the hike through 14 states in either direction. She set the woman's record for the north to south hike in 2020. Number of people that have hiked the Appalachian Trail before Tara in less than 50 days is 10. And only one of them is a woman. Tara has done it faster than all of them, including the men. And this is one of the greatest achievements of all time. It's huge. Her trail name is Candy Mama. She averaged 54 miles a day with a small support crew that was seen with many other crew members trying to attempt this with her. So she and her mother and a friend she met on the trail did the trail in 2019. It stops. We just shoveled food down our face. We'd always have a sit-down meal, but of course, she would not sit down. She's broken many other speed records over the years. Last year, she set a new record of 8 days, 21 hours, and 59 minutes on the Colorado Trail. And on a fundraising page for the Appalachian Trail, Hike Downer said she hoped to complete the trail in less than 41 days and raise $20,000 for Girls on the Run, which is a nonprofit. She had raised about $21,000 by the time she reached the end of the trail. Total is now approaching $23,000 as she still got the site up there. Now, as far as the 45-minute training for Navy SEALs, they say anyone who's familiar with the Navy SEALs knows members of that exclusive group do not mess around when it comes to their conditioning. Some players of the lacrosse team at Tufts University learned that over the weekend with attempting a workout inspired by the Special Operations Branch. According to Boston.com, a Tufts alum who endured the grueling 56-week training regimen prospective members of the Navy SEALs are required to complete, recently headed back to campus to give the lacrosse team a taste of the conditioning workouts that he was subjected to during that stretch.
All right.
The first step in the journey is the 2-month basic underwater demolition SEAL, a.k.a. BUD curriculum, that culminates with an impressively taxing physical screening test that requires participants to swim 1,000 meters in less than 20 minutes before banging out at least 60 push-ups.
60
push-ups, 10 pull-ups, 60 sit-ups prior to a 4-mile run that must be completed in less than 31 minutes. So you're talking about a 7-minute mile.
Yeah.
Essentially. Those who fail to pass are removed from the training program. Now, that served as the basis for the voluntary 45-minute workout the Tufts lacrosse team was invited to participate in last Friday, one that ended in disaster when 12 players were treated for rhabdo, a potentially fatal condition where damaged muscle releases a substance called myoglobin into the bloodstream that triggers kidney failure. 5 of those players needed to be transported immediately to the hospital for treatment, and a spokesperson for Tufts said they were launching an independent investigation into the incident to determine the circumstances surrounding the situation. Again, this was a 45 minutes. 12 people had to be taken to the hospital.
They did that on Friday?
They did that on Friday.
Because my buddy Brendan Looney, right, that I'm always wearing on my wrist, Saturday was the anniversary of his death, right? So he played lacrosse at the Naval Academy, was a SEAL, pretty famous story. So there's a pretty tight connection between lacrosse specifically and like the SEALs.
I'll be damned.
Because of him and his brothers. His brothers also were
yeah.
SEAls and played lacrosse. So I'm like, I have a feeling they were probably like, hey, Brendan did it. We could do it.
So lacrosse is easy then, comparatively speaking.
Comparatively speaking, yes.
I mean, that's a pretty physical sport.
What are you
You're
taking?
taking checks like hockey. There's
Right.
also a stick involved. The ball is probably one of the hardest. I'll say that's the hardest ball in sports other than a bowling ball.
Sure, that's fair.
As far as getting knocked with one. I'd rather get hit with a baseball, though, because it just doesn't seem to have the weight
Yeah.
that a lacrosse ball does. And plus...
And it's coming out of a human hand, not the stick, which gives it like that extra torque.
Yeah, I mean,
when you
how
shoot
fast is that
out of
thing
it.
going? It's going over 90 miles an hour, getting hit with a fastball, if you're playing against that type of competition.
So are you picking Appalachian Trail, or are you doing 45 minutes of SEAL training?
I'm doing the Appalachian Trail.
I'm right there with you.
Without question.
I don't think I can complete either of them, but I'll try the trail.
Yeah, there's a reasonable chance I could do the trail. There is no chance I'm going to finish
What you
the
have to
SEAL
remember
trail.
about the trail is, for the most part, minimal, I'll say, 40-pound pack is required.
Mm-hmm.
So you got 40 pounds on your back the entire way. And that's the one thing you need to get used to, because it's one thing to go out and ruck on, whatever path you choose to do, but it's another thing to go up and down elevations constantly with 40 pounds on your back. She did not do that because she was trying to set the speed record, so she
had the support team.
She had a team that was meeting her along the way, but I'm sure she still carried something.
She had to, yeah.
Like water or whatever the deal is. So
Random.
Hello, Christian. Welcome to the men's room.
Christian, welcome to the program. Random question. All right, let's go here. What do we got? Okay, Christian, what would you say, whether it's a board game, athletics, you name it, what game or sports do you really enjoy playing? Could be video games, just whatever occupies your time. What do you enjoy doing that way?
Video games, the only thing I really get time to do.
What's that now?
I said video games, only bit of time I really have to do, really.
Okay, and what's your favorite video games?
All I really do is play Call of Duty.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty popular. I feel like every adult I know the games, it's
Call of Duty, yes.
I mean,
seems to be a part of it.
NCAA football just came back out, so some people are playing that, but Call of
that's
Duty is
right.
massive.
Now, once you get through certain stages in Call of Duty, do you ever go back? Does it keep getting harder? Do the scenarios change as far as your character and where you're going and the things you're doing?
Mainly when you change it from, the regular amateur mode all the way to the legendary mode or professional mode. I can't remember.
And are you playing other people from around the world?
But it's pardon?
Are you playing other people from around the world?
Oh, well, yeah, if you do online, but that's mainly just pretty much whoever gets the most points. So it's different for every game you play.
Okay, all right. And what is the average session time, if you could? How much of a deep dive are you into on the game?
Well, I work 15-hour days, 5 to 6 days a week, so I'd maybe get an hour on Saturday.
Okay. Damn. But if you could, would you play 2 or 3 hours worth?
Oh, I'd play all day if I could.
Okay. All right. Well, that means it's a good game.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's super popular. I don't think my kid's playing that one. What is he playing? Not Call of Duty. Not Fortnite. Some other game where I know every once in a while it's just him and his friends, and they're like on specific missions. But like this guy's point, when he goes online and it's international, generally it's just a kill total. Mm-hmm. And it is amazing to hear the conversations that happen with this kill total and how pissy they get with each other. He keeps shooting me in the face. Like, well, stop making your face available, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
Ted, you said you're starting to enjoy a little bingo action.
Yeah, I'll play.
Have you won?
No.
How hard? So
it's not that it's hard. It's just luck.
It's got to be random, right? I mean, it's not like somebody's winning 6 times that night or whatever the deal is. It's just
no. And there's like I kind of forgot to like the place I go to. Like they started doing on Thursday nights or whatever or Wednesday. There's different games too. There's like regular bingo as you know it, and sometimes you just got to build like kind of like the H structure. Okay, you know what I mean? So it's like the night goes on, the games get kind of you got to pay attention.
How long does bingo? Because typically at this place when they do bingo, my wife and I will be out of there within 30 to 45 minutes of them starting. So basically, we're just there to repeat the numbers and numbers and letters that people just can't hear ever. It seems. Like, does it go on all night? Is it until like 10? Because we probably roll out like 7:30.
I don't know. Me and my buddy Joe were going. We went consistently 3 weeks in a row just because we couldn't win.
Yeah.
And then it was funny. It had to be a little bit past 10, but it was a weeknight. So he finally won. And we won like, I don't know, half-price drinks or shots or something.
Pitcher of beer or something like that.
We just gave them to somebody, and they were like, you don't want them? We were like, no, we just needed the satisfaction of winning.
Yep.
Because we'd been there 3 weeks in a row.
Did he jump up and yell bingo?
He yelled bingo. I screamed very loudly. The guy next to me was like, what is with you two? And it's like 3 weeks in a row. We've never won. We're very excited.
Okay. Yep. Rays, we asked what game do you enjoy playing? Somewhere in one of 8 states on the East Coast, a lot of where that Appalachian Trail is, a modest gold sculpture is sitting in the open forest floor. And whoever finds the object, worth about $25,000, along with half the money collected from people who shell out $20 apiece to receive daily clues, goes to the winner. This according to radio station WTOP. The bonus was about $10,000 yesterday morning. The modern treasure hunt called Project Skydrop is the brainchild of video game designer Jason Rohrer. It kicked off last week. Hunters can still join in. Those who do get clues emailed to them, including aerial photographs, and even an ever-shrinking circle in which the object is located.
Okay.
He says, I know it's not going to be solvable on day 1, and I know it's definitely going to be solvable maybe as early as day 21. To avoid the chaos and even deaths that accompany the legendary Forest Fin treasure hunt, the rules specify that the object must be obtained peacefully. In other words, you can't come up on somebody who's got the damn thing and threaten them with a knife or try to kill them. Cameras are around the object and are recording to make sure that happens. You don't want to be the bad guy in the Indiana Jones movie, he says. The winner must find the object in person, and it's hidden somewhere in Connecticut, Delaware, New Hampshire, Maryland, West Virginia, New York, Pennsylvania, or Vermont. For those unfamiliar with his work in field or video games, the term high concept comes to mind, and Outside has some interesting examples. His game Passage is a 5-minute meditation on the beauty of life and the inevitability of death, and part of a permanent collection at the Museum of Modern Art. A game for someone was designed by him to be only played 2,000 years in the future. And that treasure is currently buried somewhere in the Nevada desert.
Oh, really?
But it can't be played until 2,000 years from now. So this guy comes up with some pretty crazy things, but right now, somewhere out in the woods in the East Coast, there's a $25,000 gold statue waiting to be found. Plus the money that's won off of all the people who pay $10 every day to get the daily clues and then get bonus clues.
That's a big area, though.
That's huge, man. Yeah. New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Connecticut, Vermont,
West
Delaware.
Virginia.
Yeah, come on.
More of the random question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews, or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You're working from home. You settle in with a cup of coffee, ready to get the day started. Before you look at that to-do list, turn on your favorite Odyssey sports station on your smart speaker. We'll keep you company and bring you the latest updates from your teams while you tackle your inbox or get ready for another meeting that probably could have been an email. Power through the workday with the entertaining sports coverage you love from the local voices you trust. Just ask your smart speaker to play your favorite station.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You're working from home. You settle in with a cup of coffee, ready to get the day started. Before you look at that to-do list, turn on your favorite Odyssey sports station on your smart speaker. We'll keep you company and bring you the latest updates from your teams while you tackle your inbox or get ready for another meeting that probably could have been an email. Power through the workday with the entertaining sports coverage you love from the local voices you trust. Just ask your smart speaker to play your favorite station.
The best thing about the Seattle International Auto Show is everything. It's the best place to turn questions into answers. Compare the newest models from major manufacturers. Gas power, hybrid, and EV, all under one roof. See them, touch them, drive them at the Seattle International Auto Show presented by BECU. Live at Lumen Field Event Center, Thursday through Sunday, November 14th through 17th. Discover your drive. For tickets and info, visit SeattleAutoShow.com today. Are you a bartender that dreads the phrase, hey, can you put the game on? At Sports on What, we understand your pain and we're here to help. Over-the-air, satellite, cable, or streaming, Sports on What knows what channel the game is on, and you can too. Follow your favorite teams, set alerts, and filter by provider to get the results you need. Stop wasting time searching and never miss kickoff again. Just download the Sports on What app, and you'll always know how to watch the game. Available for Android and iOS. Start your 7-day free trial when you download Sports on What and subscribe today.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
It is Random Question 206-803-ROCK. Hello, Kyle. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, hola.
Hola. Kyle, welcome to the program and Random Question. All right, let's see what we got here for you, Kyle. Okay. Kyle, what have you owned that was either a counterfeit or a knockoff item?
So I bought a watch in Shanghai that is a knockoff item. I think the company is A. Lang and Son. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But I was stationed in Hawaii and went over there and picked that up, and then I brought it back to a jeweler. And the guy was like, oh, yeah, this is really nice. This thing's worth like $400,000. And I kind of just laughed to myself, like, no, it's not. But that's probably the closest, like, knockoff item that I bought.
Does the watch still work?
Yes, it does. It's one of those, like, movement winds it. So,
oh, yeah.
As long as I shake it. One of the bands fell off, but I got it replaced. And yeah, it works.
Okay.
Works great.
So how much did you pay for it? But like, if it were the real thing, according to the jeweler, $400,000-$500,000, what did you spend on it?
I spent about $150.
Yep, that sounds about right.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what I've got that's kind of counterfeit, but
I don't know if I would think. I remember growing up seemed to be more the thing, and we've all had this conversation. And now that I have kids, I try to be cognizant of this fact because I remember being a kid myself. So Star Wars figures were huge. Bless you, Ted. Star Wars figures were huge when they came out. I'm the right age. And so you would ask for, I need like 2 more Stormtroopers. I need Chewbacca or to need to whatever. And to save money, instead of getting me Stormtroopers, they bought, and like these were not for, was it Hasbro or whoever
was
did
it Battlestar Galactica toys? Or?
No, it wasn't.
To me, that's not a knockoff. But.
No. This was not based on anything. The thing that they bought, one, it was metal, not plastic, but same size, and kind of looked like a Stormtrooper, but it very obviously was not a Stormtrooper. Or like you said, your mom, you want the polo shirt or something?
Oh, she got a JCPenney Hunt Club, which to me, right, I'd almost rather not have a logo on the shirt.
That's what I'm saying, because it's the knockoff.
Yeah, we got a lot of that.
Stadia.
But I'm with Thrill, too, man. Like, and when you're a kid, toys are just very specific.
And you know exactly what you asked for.
And so are clothes.
Right. Yeah. So I like the little, like the G.I. Joes I grew up with, right? Like those 3.5-inch ones or whatever. But if you went to a toy store, like Toys R Us, they also sold other ones that looked a lot alike, but they didn't have the same features of like where his arm would bend,
yeah,
this
it's like
and that.
Army Frank or something.
Right, and sometimes you'd get that, and it's like, this isn't a G.I. Joe.
That's what I mean, man. So like when I had kids, and you're right, kids are very specific about what they want, like at Christmas or birthday, and like, look, let's get the thing. Because there's nothing worse than having this is almost what I asked for.
Mm-hmm. I have some clothing that a buddy of mine, he was living in China.
All right.
I'm assuming it's knockoff stuff. It was
it is.
A very good price on this one brand that I would never spend the money to actually buy, but I'm obsessed with.
Okay. What about you have a couple jerseys that are maybe not licensed apparel, right? Maybe?
Well, there's a difference. The NFL does it like this. Like, look, this is licensed by the NFL, and clearly it's just like the iron-on kind of number. Right. And it costs $20. And then you can get the actual jersey
$20
for $180. And you go like, kid, especially my kid, I'm like, look, man, I know you're a football fan, and I know you want the Mark Andrews jersey. You want Lamar Jackson. I love that. I'm happy for you. But the reason yours looks different than mine, when he asked, I'm like, you're still growing. So I'm dropping $40 on your this Jackson jersey I've had for 5 years.
Right, because there's different levels of that stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, Miles, you're right. Me and Miggsy did buy horrible Kraken knockoffs.
All right. I've got a Geno Smith one from China. That's a West Virginia, when he was playing quarterback for West Virginia.
All right.
And I thought it was going to be a jersey. Now, when I got this thing, it was vacuum packed in a tube about the size of a pair of like small socks.
Right.
And then, you pull it out, I'm like...
How much chemical smell came out of that?
It smelled like gasoline until I finally washed it all out.
I was going to say, when it's packaged that small,
this was not official anything. I mean, I have the jersey. Right. I've worn it a few times, but still...
You got to wear it in, man.
I'll wear it when the Seahawks play on... they play on Monday night next week?
They do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll wear it in.
Playing the Lions.
So it's not that you have a Geno Stone, West Virginia jersey. It's that it is a knockoff Geno Stone.
It is a knockoff.
That is, yeah.
Well, if I could find a real one online, apparently that's not what people buy. So, they do have legacy jerseys. They just did not have his for whatever reason.
Sure.
Well, until NIL, too, technically college jerseys weren't supposed to have names on the back.
That's true, right.
Yeah, like Pat White's got one. There's a couple guys that play that have an official jersey. He's just not one of those guys. Oh, the reason we asked, and I did buy, not that it was counterfeit, but I do remember when I was about 18 years old, 19 years old, there were the guys that went around in vans that sold speakers. Now, I don't think they were really knocking, I didn't say Sony or anything. It was just these big tower speakers that had kind of like silver subwoofers. Kind of looked like, I don't know, it looked like space age technology. So I bought a pair of those for like $80. Out of the back of some guy's van.
I mean, are they knockoff or are they stolen? I mean, they might very well be.
They were in the box. It doesn't mean they weren't stolen, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can steal it in the box.
I feel like the speaker guy he had stolen those. Mm-hmm. Like, I bought way back in the day, I bought a Big Bertha driver.
All right.
For a very affordable price out of a kid's trunk.
Yeah.
Now, he clearly just was stealing golf clubs from a course.
Okay. Well, here's another one.
But hey, the price is right.
All right. So,
I ended up reselling it.
So,
Yeah.
My Uncle Rudy, he was one of those guys when he retired. He played golf at least 6 days a week. He was a member at a country club, blah, 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 blah. So, but he was a really good golfer. And he bought a set of ping irons from one of the guys who was a member at the golf club.
All right.
For whatever reason, Rudy said he could not hit the clubs. So he gave them to my brother and said, hey, do you want a brand new set of irons? These just aren't working out for me. I'll give them to you. I'm going to buy something else. So my brother puts these things in the garage. He doesn't play golf for a couple of years because he's got kids that are young.
Right.
Typical, being a dad thing. And then he called my father and he said, hey, you know, those clubs that Uncle Rudy gave me, he said, they're all rusted up. So I took him to the equivalent of a Putz in the Pittsburgh area and said, hey, can you clean these up, or what's the deal with these irons? And the guy says, oh, these are complete ripoffs. They're knockoffs. They're not Ping irons. They're fake. And so my brother was like, hey, should I tell Uncle Rudy that the clubs that he bought from, the member at the club were knockoff fakes? And my dad's like, no, you do not tell him anything like that, because he'll kill him. Oh, really? He will kill him. He'll take a golf club over. I know Rudy. He'll take a golf club over his head, because whatever he paid for him, he paid what he thought to be reasonable price for these Ping irons. And Rudy, at 80 years old, will swing a golf club at that guy's head, because they've known each other for all those years. And he's like, I know who that guy is. He's always been a shyster, but I never thought that he would sell Rudy fake golf clubs.
So your father thinks the guy that sold them definitely knew
exactly what he was doing. Yeah. He got a pretty good penny out of him. And then when my brother got them, they just started rusting in the garage because they were sitting there.
Well, some of the knockoffs at fakes are so good, right? Like your uncle probably you didn't know. You wouldn't know.
No, and not until they rusted in the garage did anybody know. But it did make sense that he could not hit the clubs, because he had Pings before, and he could not hit these clubs for whatever reason. They were the same shaft, they were the same everything as far as he knew, but he couldn't hit them. So he's like, here, you take him. So my brother just had to dump him in
a river.
Well, he threw him in a dumpster at work. A reason we asked, what have you owned that's counterfeit or a knockoff? 3 people have been arrested as part of an investigation into the sale of counterfeit airbags. 500 fake ones with an estimated $165,000 in cash were seized across 3 properties in East London by officers over the weekend. Dogs found $140,000 of cash wrapped in napkins and hidden inside a wall cavity at a residential property. The remaining $50,000 was found in wardrobes stuffed in clothing. 3 men aged 34, 36, and 51 were arrested on suspicion of fraud by false representation, conspiracy to commit money laundering, and distribution of counterfeit goods. Officers say the airbags were imported from China, and then they were sold abroad. The airbags were seized today and sold at prices far below the cost of quality and genuine equipment. We know that the offer of a good deal can be enticing, but it's always important to buy vehicle parts from a reputable seller. These airbags did not deploy, by the way. The operation sends a clear message that we'll work across borders to disrupt illegal activity and hold those accountable for their actions. They were sold for as little as about $35 per airbag. I'm not sure what
I'm going to trust this. By the way, they have money-sniffing dogs now?
Money-sniffing dogs. Found them in a wall.
I did not know that.
The craziest one, and I don't know how they did it, but remember, who was the subway guy? Jared Fuller.
Jared, yeah.
A dog sniffed out that...
the thumb drive, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
What is the scent
of a thumb drive?
Well, not even a thumb drive. Everyone has a thumb drive. It's just that this dog could single out like, hey, this one has kid porn. Right? This one might have your finances. That dog's not interested in that one. It's interested in that one specifically.
That one seems incredibly hard. Like cash, I can fathom, and that's a big issue with people just bringing in counterfeit money or just exchanging washing money. Right? That's why there's limits on how much cash you can have when you fly around.
Correct. I still, or something. As far as technology goes, or whether a dog can sniff it, I'm still perplexed at what happened with those pagers going on with that conflict. The fact that they blew up all those pagers on one day, then did it again the next day, then started blowing up walkie-talkies.
Right.
Which tells me that there is some technology where if they wanted to blow my phone up in my pocket, do they have that ability?
Well, no, what they think is that there's a middleman.
Service, right. Whoever the middleman was sold these all to those people so they could be exploded.
Okay, but there was something they added to make it explode. It's not like they just reach into the...
So I can't, if I have information on your phone number or whatever like that, I can't just say, I'm going to blow up Steve's phone right now.
No, they actually... So one of the things they figured out, and nobody's taking responsibility for this middleman part, but you exchange, I don't know, the SIM card for something, but they said it added, 2 extra ounces of weight, I believe, so you wouldn't necessarily notice, but there was a foreign object that was intentionally placed into these pagers that they knew who they were selling it to.
Yep. And one more here. They said, you've all heard of morons trying to pass fake money off to banks, and if they would maybe notice. But what about a bank trying to pass fake money off to you? Independence Bank in Kentucky is in hot water after more than a dozen people received fake $100 bills. Not only that, but it was movie money that said, for motion picture purposes and in props we trust. It was not totally obvious to some. They felt and thought it looked real at first, but people definitely realized they were fake when they tried to spend them. It is unclear who's at fault, but the bank is blaming it on the vendor that manages and maintains the ATM machines. That's where these came from. They say they've shut down the fake money ATMs and have contacted the people who may have been impacted. They also said, quote, "We apologize for any inconvenience."
I haven't seen a follow-up on this, but, man, I told Miles, this sounds like an inside job to me, right? It said you're contracted out. It's not like the bank goes to the ATM and fills it up. You get contracted out, you take this cash, you put it in the ATM. And I don't know how much money they put in ATMs per pop, $10,000, who knows? And you go, okay, gotcha. I'll do that. That's my job. And then you take the $10,000 in cash, and then you have all the fake movie money and put it in the ATM. Mm-hmm. That is my gag. I have a hard time believing a bank thinks that it's going to get away with putting counterfeit money in an ATM, but knowing that it's a third party, like, cool, I'm taking all these bags of actual cash that you've given me and I'm replacing it. Because you ain't going to know until you know. That's it.
Random.
Hello, Eddie. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. Eddie, welcome to the program. Random question. All right, Eddie, let's go ahead in time. Based on what you enjoy doing now, hobbies, interests, whatever you're into, what do you still hope to be doing when you turn 70 years old? Is there anything that you're like, you know what, if I could still be able physically or mentally or whatever the deal is, when you're 70 years old, what hobby or interest do you still hope to be doing that maybe you enjoy now?
Well, I race sailboats, and so I'm hoping that I'll still be racing sailboats by that time.
All right. Now, what kind of racing do you do? Do you do some of those Puget Sound races where they like race from Olympia up and down the Sound, or are you out there like in the Strait of Juan de Fuca and head into Hawaii? Like, how big of a deal are you doing?
Well, I race around Whidbey Island. I'm going to be doing a race around Lummi Island next month. It's all part of a circuit called the North Sound Party Circuit, so it's all up in the San Juan Islands right now that I do.
Okay. All right, what's the farthest distance you've raced?
65 nautical miles so far.
All right. At what age do you get into this? Is this something you grew up with, or did you just have a buddy that pulled you out on a boat and you got into it?
I did my first long-distance sail when I was 3 months old. My dad, everyone thought was crazy, and my mom still kind of kicks herself in the head for letting my dad do it.
All right. What is it? Is it a solo race? Are you by yourself? Do you have a crew?
I usually have a crew of 3 to 4, including myself.
All right. And I'm assuming this is not a catamaran because the temperature of the water, right?
It's a 24-foot monohull sailboat.
All right.
So, what do you do to like warm up for this, right? Because I get it. You know, if you're doing NASCAR, you can make adjustments to the engine, to the motor. If you're playing football, you can watch tape on what the other team's going to do. Baseball, you can go out and practice. But with sailing, like, it's kind of up to the wind and then you, right? So, I mean, is there anything you can really do to prepare?
Definitely bring heaters if it's overnight, because just back in May, I was racing around Whidbey, and it took 25 hours, and in the middle of the night, I was freezing my butt off. And I had the right equipment.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Do you worry about cruise ships? Do you worry about ferries? Do you worry about, like, I don't know, the Victoria Clipper knocking you in the fog at 6:30 in the morning or any of that?
I actually work in the marine industry, so I kind of know how to deal with those guys as well.
Okay. Are they advantageous? In other words, could you draft behind a cruise ship if you wanted to?
I have been known to get close to bigger ships to use their prop wash to propel me where I want to go.
Okay. All right. Is that frowned on at all, or is it just strategic?
Probably frowned on by the marine industry guys. I've done it on Lake Union. There's a sailboat race there on Tuesday nights called Duck Dodge. And, there's definitely a tugboat that goes through that people will use the prop wash to get through there.
Is that why Kenmore Air doesn't land there on Tuesday nights?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, okay. I always wondered about that because they're kind of like shut down for business on Tuesday.
That explains it.
That Duck Dodge is pretty famous.
Is it?
Yeah, especially like when I used to actually tape the podcast in the studio at our old building.
Yeah.
It was like clockwork. Walk out there every Tuesday, like, what's going on? Like, look at Lake Union. Like, oh, Duck Dodge.
Yep.
Back when we had a view of it.
Reason that we asked, what do you still hope to be doing by the time you turn 70 years old? And this comes our way from King5.com. It's a cool story. A soon-to-be 70-year-old Seattle attorney is heading to South Africa this week to compete against some of the strongest people on the planet in the International Powerlifting Federation's Master Powerlifting Championships.
Oh, I thought he was going there to help shovel snow.
Yeah, did you see that? All the snow that fell in South Africa over the past 24 hours?
I have not.
It's not a little bit. It's crazy. They're
Uh,
headed towards summer in South Africa.
Cars,
and they're covered in snow.
trucks stranded on the interstate. Nobody can move. There's at least 2 to 3 feet of snow in South Africa. Obviously, snow tires, not really a thing
That
there.
ain't a big sell.
4-wheel drive, not really a thing there. I don't
And
know.
this guy's headed there.
This girl is.
This girl.
I sort of thought that my success in life would become my profession and my brain. But apparently, I'm a better bodybuilder. That from Alma Kimura. A heavy lift for her, who's been a trailblazer in Seattle for decades. My profession, day job, I'm a lawyer. I have my own law practice. My pastime passion, though, right now, powerlifting. Age is just a number for the 69-year-old who is turning 70 coming up here in October. She has owned her own law practice in Seattle since 1987, but the numbers standing at a mere 4'9" and weighing 150 pounds, pound for pound, she is considered one of the strongest women in the world.
Yeah.
In the world. This will be my 6th world powerlifting competition. I've won gold medals in 4 that I've gone to. And now she's in pursuit of her next gold, heading to Sun City, South Africa this Friday for the IPF's Master Powerlifting Championships. She'll compete against other world-class powerlifters, women between the ages of 70 to 79. That's the division. You've been training for months, years to get to this point, and when you get to that weight, it's exhilarating. The heaviest squat she's lifted, 264 pounds. Her best deadlift, 335 pounds, 2 accomplishments she hopes to surpass during the competition. And she encourages people to keep lifting each other up as they follow their passion. If you told me 15 years ago that I would be a world champion powerlifter and that I would be addicted to the sport, I would have told you you're nuts. But here I am, and that is my life. More of the Random Question on the way. 206-803-ROCK.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You're working from home. You settle in with a cup of coffee, ready to get the day started. Before you look at that to-do list, turn on your favorite Odyssey sports station on your smart speaker. We'll keep you company and bring you the latest updates from your teams while you tackle your inbox or get ready for another meeting that probably could have been an email. Power through the workday with the entertaining sports coverage you love from the local voices you trust. Just ask your smart speaker to play your favorite station.
99.9 KISW. The men's room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Green Day and the Smashing Pumpkins in town tonight.
Who else is there? It's with Smashing Pumpkins, Green Day.
Rancid, maybe. I know Danny V's going for the morning show.
Of course, he's legally required.
I think he went down and saw him in Los Angeles when they did a private show or kicked off their tour or whatever. So yeah, they're in town tonight. All right, let's say a random question. 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Trevor. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, how's it going?
Hola. Trevor, let's see here. All right, kind of a two-parter. Where have you been that you did not feel safe? And with that, what country would you say you would never want to travel in? Where's a place you would never want to travel just based on worrying about whatever?
Oh, place I never want to travel. Geez. I'd have to say just what I heard, either Russia or China, because if they disagree with you, you might end up in prison. If they disagree with the U.S., you might end up in prison so they can swap you later.
Okay. Yep, that's fact. Where have you been in your lifetime that you did not feel safe in your travels?
I've been pretty safe most of my life. I'd probably say the worst time was downtown Seattle about 2 a.m.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Absolutely.
I'd say Norfolk.
Virginia.
Yeah.
Technically, I might have been in Hampton Roads. I'm not sure. I just know I was
Portsmouth, Norfolk, Hampton Roads. It does not matter.
Correct.
You don't want to be there.
Right. I'm 19, driving my mom's Cadillac. I mean, I roll down the window, and this cop just goes, "Trying to find the highway?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "All right, hurry up."
Yeah, seriously. Like,
that was it. He literally, right, because, I mean, he was stopped on a residential street. Like, I don't know how I got in this neighborhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how to explain it. You know, growing up in PG County, you know which parts are okay, which parts aren't. Like, I'm just cruising around this neighborhood, and I was like, this is bad. Like, this reminds me of Southeast D.C. And then, I pulled up next to that cop. As soon as I rolled down the window, he's just like, "Lost, yeah, Like, just, I was like, where? He's like, "Follow me to the highway."
That's where my mom grew up, specifically Portsmouth, but it's all the same freaking thing there. And it's a little rough around the edges, but it's weird, right? Because as a kid, you only know what you know. Mm-hmm. So go visit the grandparents, you know, everybody was, I won't say friendly, that's not the right word, but it kind of was what it was. And then as I got older, I'm like, "Mom, you know where you're from?" She's like, "I know, it's effed up." I'm like, okay, just as I've gotten older, I realized, like, this is a horrible place. She's like, that is why I moved.
Yeah, Southeast D.C. was the same way. Because every once in a while, you know, you give somebody a ride home from school, and, like, it's me and my buddy Weave and, like, these other dudes. So we drop them off down there, and I don't know, one of them wants to smoke weed or something. So we're in this park just kind of chilling. And then finally they're like, "You guys got to go." And we're like, "What's up?" And they were dead serious. They're just like, "It's almost nighttime. And, like, you guys, like, you're going to be in trouble."
Yeah.
Yep. I think maybe there was one neighborhood in San Juan, Puerto Rico that I went to look for buying weed. Mm-hmm. That was pretty sketch. Like when someone came up and said, "Hey, man, you need to go. You need to leave."
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're nice enough to let you know.
"Why are you here?" "I'm here looking for weed." Well, basically, he said, the guy that has it, I don't know where he is right now, and you just don't need to be hanging out
You
here.
don't want to wait.
Exactly. And he's the guy that has it. So apparently he controls that, and there's nobody else.
And no one's going to mess with that.
And nobody else is selling it down there. So he's like, "Just so you know, that guy's not here. So it's best if you leave." So I continue to look for weed for 2 days. And, of course, the night before I'm getting ready to leave, I run into weed in the taxi because the taxi cab driver has it on him.
As the drivers, man.
Well,
most foreign countries I've been to anyway, if there's anything, we'll say illicit or maybe something you don't want on the record, they seem to be like your contraband concierge.
Yes.
Right? But, "Hey, man, look, I'm not saying this is for me, but I'm looking for blank, blank, or blank. What hotel you staying at? I'll meet you at 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Have this much money, and I'll bring you drugs."
I've been to some bars in Southwest Oregon that were a little bit sketchy as far as just the vibe, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm coming from West Virginia, so it's not anything crazy. It's just this vibe of like, you're not from here,
but
don't
you're not
here.
from there. It's you could be from a place like that, but if you're not from that place,
exactly.
I think that probably the most uncomfortable I felt was Central Pennsylvania. Same thing. Just wandered into this bar. As luck would have it, they had just completed Oriole Park at Camden Yards at that time, which is a massive stadium full of brick, and the guys that were in this bar drinking were part of the Bricklayers Union that had done the stadium. So when they heard I was from Baltimore, suddenly they were all excited. "Hey, man, we just built the stadium." And me, I'm putting it on like, "It's the most beautiful baseball stadium."
It is one of the most.
It is, but even if it was ugly, I was going to tell them, "This is beautiful." By the end,
I'm pretty sure when they were done with that, they went and did Jacobs Field in Cleveland.
And that's why they look so much alike.
Oh, yep. That's exactly right.
I mean, and I'm not saying this joking around. There was, when I worked for Coach Wooten's basketball camp, right? I'm like, again, like 1920. So at night, I would drive all the coaches down from Frostburg. You get in a little town called Cumberland. You cross the bridge, and you're into West Virginia. West Virginia had different rules. So that basically, this one bar would stay open a lot later.
Till 2. Or later.
Right. Right. I think you know the place. I know Glenn knows it.
Yeah.
But one night, I went to pick up a bunch of the coaches. Obviously, it's a basketball camp. A lot of the dudes are black. And there was a group of locals that rolled up with bats and hopped out of a truck. I mean, we had to evacuate pretty quickly.
Big
that
story.
happened to me once in Baltimore. It's an area called South Baltimore now, and now it's all gentrified and all this. But this was almost like the Klan hotbed in the 80s. And same thing, man. If you stepped foot in there, right, they chased your ass out. Many different stories of things go down there, but there's another area called Hamden.
Oh, God.
And okay, so in Hamden,
Talking about the lifeguard?
The lifeguard.
Oh, there's a black lifeguard at the pool. It lasted about 2 days.
I don't even know why he would take that job, but it was notorious. Seriously, dude.
Yeah.
It was notorious, but my buddy Leon and I, there was a movie theater there in the building you used to work in, Miles, right? And we had just seen the movie Decline of Western Civilization Part 2. We went to the later showing. We're now walking through Hamden. It's going away, but there's a guy named Pudgy or Punky or something like that. But he and his boys, they literally jumped in a pickup truck trying to chase us down. I would not say how it ended, but it ended poorly for this guy because I was with Leon, who was not. Oh. I just saw something that night that I never thought I'd see in my life. And I mean, like, it kind of shook me, but Leon's like, that's why you don't F with me. I'm like, yeah, good for me, man. So it wasn't a problem after that. But for the 20 minutes of chasing us around, man, we're like, we're on foot. We're running down alleys and all this kind of crap in this goddamn blue pickup truck that kept showing up. But these guys jumped out. Man, oh, man. It ended very poorly for this one guy who was kind of like their leader. And when his buddies kind of saw what happened to his face and head, it was, okay, we're going to drag him away, leave you guys alone. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man. Leon's like, hey, that crowbars and bats, man. He's like, we're going to handle our business.
Yep.
No, not a gun. Not a gun. Not a gun.
Raise my ass, where have you been that you didn't feel safe, or what country would you not want to travel in? An American who's earned multiple world records after traveling to every nation on Earth is now spilling the details about his journey, including some rather scary ones. Indy Nelson is now in his early 30s. Most recently was verified for breaking the world record for airlines flown on, 170 unique ones. Told the Guinness World Records in an interview last week that I feared for my life several times, including when he was detained by 4 different countries for suspected espionage. There were definitely several times I did not think that I was going to get out. But by the 4th time, I was like, all right, this is not really a big deal anymore. The California native names those nations as. Any guesses where he got detained or where he felt scared to death?
I guess somewhere, because he went everywhere on Earth, every country.
He visited every single country.
Espionage. Just like Yemen or, I don't know, like Azerbaijan, just these random-ass countries.
Okay, the California native names Iran.
Okay.
Libya.
Sure.
Papua New Guinea.
Really?
And Russia. Well, you have to think of the tribes in Papua New Guinea. There's
right.
As far as the travel ban goes, that's one of the ones they say, like, look, man, there's a tribe there right now that the forest and lumber industry is kind of starting to encroach upon their native land.
And they're letting them know.
They are not, those people have not been found.
Yeah, they're picking off just the individual workers.
Yeah, taking them out.
I mean, there's a few places, like, I have a buddy, he married she's Colombian, right? Or no, she's Venezuelan, but he met her in Colombia, and then they stayed down there, and they were working on some, like, non-profit stuff or whatever. Basically, she's Venezuelan. They cannot go. And I was like, can you hide security? And he's like, I'm a white American. There's no guarantee security won't rob me as soon as I get there.
Right.
And then also, like, I guess whatever this nonprofit was doing, trying to help people along, was not, the governments are not fan of that nonprofit.
Okay. All right. So nothing is working in your favor at that point.
Correct. So, like, he's just like, no, like, we cannot go, like, she can't even go back now because she's married to me.
Damn.
All right. He was detained in Russia for over 24 hours. Other highlights from the interview included his favorite country to visit, Cambodia, for its culture and super friendly residents. The least favorites, Comoros, an archipelago off of the African coast. I've never even heard of that.
I've never heard of that.
He said the locals there, not friendly. He also praised Middle East Airlines as being awesome and said he almost never had any flight cancellations on his trip. The accommodations were absolutely fantastic. Emirates, all those. Revealed that he handled turbulence on some of his flights by treating it like a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
I'll bundle up into a little cocoon, put my feet into the back of the seat in front of me. If there's no one there, close my eyes, and I don't get any headaches. He said he got the idea to circumvent the globe and hit every country after going to North Korea for spring break during college.
That's where every spring breaker wants to go.
On his website, Nelson claims 6 other world records, including the fastest time to visit all sovereign countries on Earth, 1 year and 74 days, and being the youngest person to do so at age 24 years and 3 days. He is now encouraging others to make the same travel leaps if they can and if they're able. Just do it. Do it when you're young. Get out of your comfort zone. It changes your foundation, changes who you are, and changes your view of the world.
It's also not cheap, man. I mean, if nothing else, like, you need the time and the money. I know he didn't do it all in one trip, but still, man, that is a lot.
Yeah, I think some of the places are super affordable, but you got to, like you said, you got to have the time off work and you got to get there.
How do you get into North Korea?
You know, I don't know. Do we even have an embassy there? Or do you have to reach out to the South Korean
I don't know.
embassy?
I mean, I'm sure there's I don't know. Like, Russia just scares me as, like I don't think they just don't smile. And it's like a big thing. Like, nobody smiles there or whatever. I feel like I just get beat up by random Russian dudes just for visiting.
If you wore velour, I think you'd make sure I do.
Well,
right.
Yeah, we even saw people smile in Germany. I didn't think that was possible.
Well, Germans have a horrible history.
No, I'm not talking about that. Just talking about the fact that it's like not comedy is not their favorite genre.
Right. No, they're actually very friendly.
They're not known for it. I just know Russians are. It's like a thing. Like, you don't smile, and I walk around half the day with smiling.
Hello, Franco. Welcome to the men's room.
Good day, Baltimore.
Hola, Franco. How are you, man?
Doing okay. Yourself?
Doing well. Let's see here. Okay, let's go with this one, Franco. Where did you leave something important? Where did you leave that important thing? Or do you know where you left it?
You know, you guys always, I've called several times. You ask me questions, and I can never really think of anything on the spot. I always have great stories for all the.
Well, think of it like this. Have you ever, look, you might have left your wallet at the bar, your credit card, cell phone, or something of someone else's. Mm-hmm. You know, when your dad and you're 12 years old says, where's my hammer with the red handle? And you're thinking, you know what? I know I used it, Dad, but I'm not sure where it is.
I'm pretty sure that the most expensive wedding ring I ever had, which might have been $250, came flinging off my hand when I was running somewhere in Fremont. I have no idea. It's happened multiple times, but that was the expensive one that I lost.
Of course.
I also used to hide baseball cards that I did not want my friends to know that I had because I thought they might take them because they were valuable to me, and put them in books. So like the Hardy Boys books, Mike, I would hide them in places where I thought no one's going to read this. And then when I moved out, I kind of forgot about them, and my mom took all my books and either gave them to, and I had $100 bills in there.
Dude.
All kinds of stuff that I would hide in books and say, like, I know where this is. It's on page 150 of the one Encyclopedia Britannica book I've got. The in book, you know what I mean? Because the guy gave you a sample.
Right.
But never came back to get it. Yeah. So we had so I placed them in, and I'm pretty sure most of my valuables went with my books. If I could put them in a book. So I never lost anything, huh?
No, I've lost and left things. I lost my wedding ring. We were out diving. I was on Guam, and as I came up, I realized I didn't have my wedding ring on. But it wasn't expensive.
Yeah, but it's still it's the symbol of it.
Right. You can tell your wife, look, babe, your ring isn't expensive either, but come on. Now, was your wife forgetting based on what it is you were doing?
No. Well, it was my ring. She's a dive master. She was instructing me on how to dive. So we were just out there, and I saw it flip off. I actually saw it flip off my finger. And as I reached down to grab it, it kicked up all the sand. I was in maybe 3 feet of water. We're just getting back on shore. And that just stirred up the sand and the muck. And after about 30 seconds, I said, all right, I guess I'm not finding it. And I told her right then and there. She understood.
She wasn't worried about you being single in Guam. What did you see anything cool down there?
Oh, my God. So there's a spot where in World War I, the Germans scuttled some battleship, the Cormoran, in Apra Harbor, and in World War II, I believe we sank the Tokai Maru in Apra Harbor, and they fell almost on top of one another. And it's my understanding that it's the only spot in the world where you can have a sunken ship wreckage from World War I and World War II at the same time.
That's pretty cool.
That is crazy. All right.
It's pretty cool. It's about 90, maybe 100 feet below the surface. So the water's super clear. It's, the sun comes down. You can see everything. It's beautiful. It's awesome. And I love wreck dives like that. I think that's really cool. So that was awesome.
That is cool.
You still dive pretty regularly?
I have not gone under since I left Guam 12 years ago.
Damn. All right.
The reason we asked, what did you, or where did you leave that important thing? This has to do with diving. Specialist divers surveying the wreckage of the $40 million super yacht that sank off of Sicily in August, killing 7 people, including British tech tycoon Mike Lynch, have asked for heightened security to now guard the vessel over concerns that data is locked in the safes and may be of some interest to foreign government.
Yeah.
So Italian prosecutors have opened up a criminal probe into multiple charges of manslaughter, negligent shipwreck for the yacht. But it may contain highly sensitive data tied to a number of Western intelligence services, according to people who are familiar with the salvage operation. Now, he was associated with British, American, and other intelligence services through his various companies, including a cybersecurity company that he founded called Dark Trace. That company was sold to Chicago-based private equity firm Thoma Bravo in April. Lynch's wife and her company, RevTom, owned the vessel and was also advisor to the British prime ministers on science, technology, and cybersecurity during their tenures, according to the British government and Dark Trace records. So the vessel is about 164 feet at the bottom of the water. It's thought to have watertight safes, and they contain 2 super encrypted hard drives that hold highly classified information, including passcodes and other sensitive data, according to an official involved in the salvage plans who asked not to be named. Specialist divers with remote cameras, they have searched the boat extensively. Now, initially, local law enforcement feared that would-be thieves might try to reach the wreckage to find expensive jewelry, other objects of value still on board the yacht. Now they're concerned that the wreckage, expected to be raised in the coming weeks as part of the criminal investigation, might also be of interest to foreign governments like Russia and China. They have requested that the yacht be guarded closely, both above water and with underwater surveillance. A formal request has been accepted and implemented for additional security of the wreckage until it can be raised. So they've got a boat out there, and they've got guys going down in the water to make sure that no one is going down there trying to access this information.
Is it a good idea to announce it to the world then? I know a lot of you didn't know this, but there's some very sensitive information from world government sitting down there. So don't mess with the boat.
Random. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can fathom being like, don't mess with the boat, but it seems odd to be like, there's really sensitive stuff in there.
That's all I'm saying. That's all. Hello, Jim. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, Bajolas.
Hola. Jim, what's happening? Welcome to the Random Question, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you.
All right, let's see here. What do we got for you? All right. Since we're talking about money and things like that, do you keep cash on hand?
Not so much anymore.
All right. Do you have a stash of cash anywhere? Don't want to know where, but do you keep a stash of cash in an emergency situation?
My stash of cash is in another bank account.
All right, so you do. Okay. You just don't have direct access to it unless you go to the bank. Because what they do say is, in the event of a natural disaster or in case of emergency, it's always good to have cash on hand in case systems go down.
Right.
As far as your ability to be able to use your ATM card, or even if there's no electricity, you can still always pay in cash.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not have any cash on hand. I have $40 in my wallet, and that's about it. Like, I don't have money, like any kind of money.
No, any cash I have is on my person in my wallet, with the exception of the change jar sitting at the house.
All right, okay,
anyway,
that's
if
fair.
you want to snatch that, knock yourself out.
I got to get to Coinstar, too. I've got to...
For some reason, I always just keep $100 like in a specific drawer.
Just in case.
I guess. I don't know when I started doing it, but I've just kind of gotten used to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might just be like, hey, it's Saturday. I'm going to a bar that doesn't have, like, that's cash only. And I'll just grab 60.
Or I'm going to the casino and the sports book.
Right. And, like, put it back in there. But, yeah, I don't know why. That's just, like, the one. But it's only $100. I don't know of an emergency if it would help out a ton.
Hope it's a cheap emergency.
Reason we asked, do you keep cash on hand? Someone in California had their car broken into Friday the 13th. They were parked outside of a school. No big deal. They got inside the gym with their kids just to drop them off. Then they came back to their car, and they saw that the back passenger window had been shattered. And when they looked inside, they noticed that there was at least one thing missing. Just a regular old cardboard box that the owner said contained $1 million in cash.
Good.
Oh,
God.
Police also discovered a GPS device that had been attached to the car that the victim did not know was there.
So somebody was tracking him.
They truly believe he's not lying about the money. They don't have any way to prove that he had the money. Suddenly, this break-in is a lot more interesting, but unfortunately, there aren't any more details. Cops are trying to investigate both the break-in and the claim that there was $1 million inside in cash and figure out who could possibly have put the GPS and tracked the car?
Anyone that you told that you have $1 million in a box in your car.
Probably guilty. All right, your guess is as good as mine. Cut up the categories: the best cities for coffee and the best cities for pizza. And we've got your emails coming up next from the men's room at KISW.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the men's room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You're working from home. You settle in with a cup of coffee, ready to get the day started. Before you look at that to-do list, turn on your favorite Odyssey sports station on your smart speaker. We'll keep you company and bring you the latest updates from your teams while you tackle your inbox or get ready for another meeting that probably could have been an email. Power through the workday with the entertaining sports coverage you love from the local voices you trust. Just ask your smart speaker to play your favorite station.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You're working from home. You settle in with a cup of coffee, ready to get the day started. Before you look at that to-do list, turn on your favorite Odyssey sports station on your smart speaker. We'll keep you company and bring you the latest updates from your teams while you tackle your inbox or get ready for another meeting that probably could have been an email. Power through the workday with the entertaining sports coverage you love from the local voices you trust. Just ask your smart speaker to play your favorite station.
It's hard to be a good parent, but of all the things you're doing to better your child's future, few are as important as keeping their vision sharp. MySight One Day are the only contact lenses that can correct and help protect your growing child's blurry vision from getting worse. Because while their future may be unclear, their vision shouldn't be. Learn more at MySight.com. MySight today, anything tomorrow. Ask your eye care practitioner if your child is a candidate for MySight One Day and review important safety information at MySight.com/safety.
Are you a bartender that dreads the phrase, hey, can you put the game on? At Sports on What, we understand your pain and we're here to help. Over-the-air, satellite, cable, or streaming, Sports on What knows what channel the game is on, and you can too. Follow your favorite teams, set alerts, and filter by provider to get the results you need. Stop wasting time searching and never miss kickoff again. Just download the Sports on What app, and you'll always know how to watch the game. Available for Android and iOS. Start your 7-day free trial when you download Sports on What and subscribe today.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Your guess is as good as mine on the way. The category is the best cities in the U.S. for pizza and the best cities for coffee. What's up? First time for a few emails to the men's room at KISW.com. We do have a couple birthday requests. Liquor and Horrors, gentlemen. Last time I wrote in for the birthday shout-out, I was turning 25. Now I'm turning 30, and I'm still just as full of urine and vinegar. I've got no one to take a birthday shout-out on my behalf, so here I am, been listening on and off since you all were syndicated in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And now that my commute just got longer, I have some time to listen to you guys again regularly. Your jokes are richer than 4 feet up a bull's butt. and never fail to brighten my day. So can I get a Johnson boat jingle, a your penis is too small, and Coach Ted giving me life advice now that I am 30. Thanks again, and rock on, bitches. That from Moorland.
You, your girl, and your Johnson.
All right. Is he still down in Tennessee? I didn't hear that part.
I'm guessing he is, maybe. I don't know.
All right. Well, now that you're 30, you know what you could do? You could buy season tickets to go see the Vols play. Having a hell of a year down there. They'll be awesome. Or you could do the smart thing and probably start saving money for real.
Yeah. Owachola is reaching out to wish a happy 79th birthday to my father, Adam Jones Sr. He's made a huge impact in my life, raising and teaching me to be a hard worker, to show up for work every day. Boy, that's a good one. To be compassionate and respectful of others, and a damn good man all the way around. At least I think so. So could you please help him celebrate with Your Penis Is Too Small? It's time to take off the leash, and you like that. I'll listen to you guys every day and love what you do for all of us while we're stuck in the Seattle area traffic. That from Adam Jones, Pac-Man Jr.
Take off the leash. You like that? You like that?
All right, guys, here you go.
Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Thank you, Bob. Let's get a contestant on the line for your guess is as good as mine now. 206-803-ROCK. We do have some additional locations in the meantime. For the Men's Room IPA from Black Raven Brewing, here we go. Macholas. I live in La Grande, Oregon, but came up to the Seattle area for a family reunion last weekend. Had to look for the beer while I was in town. I found it at the Safeway in Port Orchard. And guys, it's delicious. Thanks for all you guys do. P.S. Traffic is awful. They had so many roads closed. That from Chris. You're not the only one with those sentiments. And I believe from what I read today, it's going to be worse next weekend.
Right. There's more closure. And look, man, I was Friday I came in here, I was ready to rip someone's head off. The traffic was so effed up.
Yeah.
And I can't say no reason. It's just the timing with which this city chooses to do major construction leaves a lot to be desired.
That would be
most cities go, hey, this is a major thing, so we're going to do it overnight, you see, when there's not millions of cars on the road and only like 8 people are inconvenienced at 4 in the morning, not, hey, Monday through Friday rush hour.
That's right. That's right. This one comes our way from Melinda at the Mountain Room Bar at the R. Had a little VIP grand opening party on Friday night. I was unable to attend, but Ryan Castle went. And Melinda says, hey, let the guys know we have Men's Room IPA on tap at the Mountain Room Bar at the R. That looks like a great place. So
yes,
the brewery just opened back up again. So that's a cool spot.
And I think we met her. What was the bar we were at in Kirkland for one of the men's rooms?
The Line.
The Line.
Oh, yeah, she was there.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember what you look like, but I'm sure we met, and thank you for carrying the beer.
Yeah. That's another good spot, the Lime in Kirkland.
It is. We were a little disappointed. The other day, we were over in Kirkland for one of my son's soccer games. I don't remember, but something athletic with him. And we're like, man, let's grab something to eat. I'm like, how about the Lime? Me and the wife were all into it. And then we're like, the kids are with us. We can't. Okay. We'll go somewhere.
Yeah.
We just didn't think about it. Then I'm like, God damn. Okay, let's go someplace we kind of want to go.
All the gentlemen found the Men's Room IPA on tap at Druidge Glen Golf Course in Covington after a successful round of 18 holes. Cheers, bitches, and go Hawks. That one from Alex. You can also find the Men's Room IPA from Black Raven Brewing at the following locations. We've got Bob's Market and Deli, also available at Cosmic Bottles, the PC Deli Mart, C Street Mini Mart and Food, the ABC Grocery, the Grand View Grocer, Dwayne's Liquor Market, the I-5 Fuel Stop, Safeway on Capitol Hill, the Valley Food Mart, Kin's QA, also at the South Bay Grocer and Deli, Safeway in Belfair and Puyallup, the Four Corners Food Mart, the Grocery Outlet in Port Angeles, also the Safeway in Enumclaw and Maple Valley, the Camino Island Chevron, Safeway in West Olympia, Total Wine and More in Federal Way. Also available at the Grocery Outlet in Enumclaw, Huntington's Corner Grocer, Safeway in Lakewood, Total Wine in Puyallup, the Safeway Bonnie Lake, the Gravely Lake 76, the Safeway in Steilacoom, and at the Hagen in Stanwood. Also at the Sultan Liquor Store, the Chevron in Sultan, the Olympic View Deli, Ascend Chevron, the Shelton Smoke and Beer, Total Wine in Linwood, the Town Market, and the Third Little Pig. Some of the locations.
Those first two, they don't carry. Yeah. First, they wouldn't carry our beer, so F them. The Third Little Pig.
Yeah, how could they? They didn't build their store out of brick.
Yeah, that's a solid point, man. Solid point.
All right. Time for Low Your Guess is as good as mine. It's an easy game to play. We get a contestant on the line. You pick from one of two categories and then see how many you can get right. Hopefully you'll get all 10, and 3 strikes and you're out means you are out of the game. So, Steve, who is our contestant ready to play Your Guess is as good as mine?
Hello, Dave. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola. Dave, welcome to the program, and your guess is as good as mine. All right, Dave, we're leaning on cities on our categories today. We have 2024's best coffee cities in the United States. They highlight the best cities to enjoy a cup of joe. And they compared the 100 largest cities around 12 key indicators of a strong coffee culture. The data set ranges from coffee shops, coffee houses, cafes per capita, to the average price per pack of coffee, to the share of residents with coffee makers at home. So, category number 1, the best cities for coffee. Category number 2, just announced last week. These are the 10 best cities in America for pizza, according to the new survey. The study evaluated factors such as average ratings, excellence in reviews, number of pizza establishments, and pizza-related internet searches. So, Dave, what do you want to do? Coffee or pizza today on Your Guess is as good as mine?
Well, since Howard Schultz told our son it's definitely not coffee.
So you're going to go pizza?
We're going to go pizza.
All right, Dave. Here we go. We have the best cities in America for pizza. The study results challenge long-held assumptions about America's pizza landscape, just so you know. With some cities coming out of nowhere, which are traditionally not known as pizza cities. So keep that in mind, Dave, as you make your guesses. What is your first guess, Dave, on Your Guess is as good as mine?
New York.
New York City is now the number 4 pizza spot in America. As far as excellence go, New York does rank number 1 as far as the quality of the pies that they make there. As far as the choices of pizza, that comes in at 10.
I
so
can
basically,
believe that.
it's one style for the
New York
most
style.
part.
Because New York's going to say, no, we do New York style.
Yeah. As far as interest in pizza, it is number 1. So New York is the most pizza-interested city.
Mm-hmm. As long as you like New York style pizza.
That is correct. Okay. All right, Dave, you're 1 for 1. New York is number 4 on the list.
Let's go for Chicago.
Number 9.
Oh,
Chicago, excellence is ranked number 8. As far as the choice, it is ranked number 17.
I can believe, again, Chicago style pizza.
And as far as interest, it's number 3 on the list. So people go to Chicago, they definitely want to try Chicago style pizza. They want to try their tavern pizza as well. So
but
Chicago
that tavern pizza, up until about, I'd say 3 or 4 years ago, nobody knew that existed.
Right.
All you knew was deep dish from Chicago.
That's correct. Yep. Absolutely. All right, Dave, you're 2 for 2 with Chicago and New York.
We're going to go with Detroit.
Would you believe that they are number 11? And they seem to be the pizza that is kind of more sweeping the country as far as popularity than any other style. They're just coming in at number 11 on a number of reasons based on the fact that basically if you go there, it's Detroit pizza or bust for the most part.
I think
This
maybe
is a little
like
harder than I thought it was going to be, actually.
I'm thinking places like you got like Philadelphia and Boston. Don't guess them yet. We got traditional East Coast cities. These all ones. It's all about pizza. But then also you have L.A. Not necessarily the kind of pizza I want, but you think California Pizza Kitchen, etc.
I'll tell you this.
Maybe San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, just because there's so many like foodie culture and chefs.
And I will tell you this, Dave, there is one city in California. It is not Los Angeles. This city in California has the highest population of Italians in any other city. They're the only city in California with a, quote, official Little Italy, so to speak.
Okay.
So
I know where it
those
is.
clues can help you out.
Well, I don't think it's San Francisco, so let's try San Diego.
San Diego, number 5. There you go. You took the clues and ran with it. San Diego, number 5. New York, number 4. And Chicago, number 9. Dave,
everyone's been San Diego pie.
One strike against you, yes. Which has no fat on it.
Right. None at all.
I didn't even know there was a lot of Italians in San Diego.
Yep. Actually, man, Little Italy in San Diego is one of the best places I've ever eaten as far as the food goes. I've been doing that. Oh, Baltimore's got a great one, too. I was just San Diego.
Baltimore's Little Italy is like super Little Italy. Like teeny tiny microscopic Italy.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here, Dave. You're 3 out of the 10 and 1 strike so far.
I would go with what Ted was tracking with. Portland, Seattle might be a couple, at least worth throwing out there.
All right, let's try St. Louis first, though.
St. Louis, no, not on the list. They do have a very unique style of pizza.
I like St. Louis pizza. It's kind of that tavern square cut, but it's all about the Provel cheese. Just ask them.
That's right. It is about the cheese.
They will let you know.
Well, all right. Let's go with our Seahawks and Sonics and go Seattle Pizza.
Seattle Pizza is now crowned the top pizza city in the United States of America. I did not make this list up. Do not give me crap. It is number 1. They say Seattle's rise in the pizza world stems from its focus on locally sourced ingredients, the innovative approach to pizza making, from wood-fired Neapolitan-style pies to fusion pizzas. The city offers one of the more diverse and high-quality pizza experiences that rivals traditional pizza capitals.
That's hard to argue. Because when you think pizza, right, you think New York City. Seattle goes, cool, we have New York pizza, but we have 10 million different types. Whether you like them or not is entirely different, but you definitely get variety.
I mean, I talk about Pagliacci, but also like Dino, that grandma slice at Dino's on Capitol Hill to me is one of the better pieces of pizza this
Tom Douglas's Serious Pie is a very unique pizza.
Serious, right? That's won a lot of awards.
What was the one out in West Seattle, the pizza joint that we'd go watch football games at? Tellerico's.
Tellerico's, yep.
Great pizza.
That's a big slice of pizza. Yep, absolutely. All right, Dave, 4 out of the 10, but you do have 2 strikes against you. So far, you're correct with number 1, Seattle, number 4, New York, San Diego 5, and Chicago 9.
You guys think there might be like a New Jersey place on there?
There is no towns in New Jersey on the list.
Because that's New York.
Right, that's kind of what I figured.
Or it's Philadelphia, right? So, I mean, that's...
And Philadelphia, not that they don't have good pizza, it's not really known as a pizza haven, more of a cheesesteak place, but there is great pizza on the Jersey Shore. That's where you're going to go find a good slice of pie, because it's New York style.
Yeah, I think Philadelphia has great pizza. You're right. They're just more known for the cheesesteak.
But their pizza's solid, right? Maybe if Seattle's up there, I would guess Portland, because they tend to be very inventive.
Since they have the closest basketball team to us, since Howard Schultz got rid of ours.
Dave, do you have a bone to pick?
Yeah.
How long have you held this grudge? Like, if I were to do you wrong, maybe accidentally open up a piece of mail that was into my mailbox, is this like a 20-year commitment to you hating my guts, or is this just, like, are you done in a week?
You're good.
All right, okay. I didn't know. Making sure there.
I mean, he sold the team. They left.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. We were here when it happened.
So we'll go with the Trailblazers and say Portland.
Let's go Portland at number 3. The number 3 pizza town in the United States of America. So, Dave, you're right with Seattle, Portland, New York, San Diego, and Chicago. I'll give you this. There's one city in Pennsylvania with a big Italian population. There's a city in Colorado, as well as a city in Florida, a city in Ohio, and a city in Massachusetts.
So I would think Boston with Massachusetts.
Even though I don't like the Eagles, we'll go Philadelphia.
It is not Philadelphia.
Oh!
Yeah.
Is it Pittsburgh?
It's Pittsburgh at number 10. You guys want to try to complete the list?
That's Boston.
So far, Dave was right with Chicago, San Diego, New York, Portland, and Seattle. You said Boston. Boston is number 2 on the list. It is number 1 in excellence.
Okay.
As far as the quality of pie.
How about Denver?
Denver, Colorado is number 8 on the list. Good guess, Mike.
Denver, huh?
Denver.
All right.
Which seems weird because of the altitude. I just would figure that
it's probably an entirely different kind of crust.
Like does the
mile high pie?
Does the dough even rise there? I mean, you're already so high, so high in many ways.
So we got 1 in Florida, you said, and 1 in Ohio. So
I would guess Cleveland, Miami.
Cleveland is number 7.
All right.
And there's 1 city left, and that city is in Florida.
So I don't think it's Miami.
Think about the most ethnically diverse city in Florida for the most part.
Orlando.
Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, there's a lot of different groups of people in Orlando.
That's mice, dogs.
Yeah, but that makes sense that they would have good pizza, and you know what I mean?
Right, because everyone in the world is coming to your city for Disney or whatever.
And they got the magic.
Yeah. And I think some people would you go down there to visit, and it's like, if we already own a pizza shop in Ohio, like, you want to go to Florida and open a new one?
Yeah, that's good. That's very true.
Yeah. And although you might be shocked by Seattle being the new #1 pizza destination in America, here are a few stats. Seattle has the highest overall weighted ranking among U.S. cities for pizza. An impressive average rating of 4.13 out of 5 for all pizzerias.
Damn. Okay.
So 4 stars. 755,000 residents with access to 755 pizza establishments. So the variety is excellent, and there are many locations. 186 pizza-related searches per 100,000 residents, indicating strong local interest in pizza. And reviews rated as excellent come in at 42%, showcasing the high quality of pizza. So believe it or not, Seattle's got a lot to be proud for as far as the pizza game.
One weird thing that happened on the text lines, I cannot explain this, nor had I heard this before, but 3 different people are saying New Haven, Connecticut.
Connecticut's known for their pizza.
Right.
And the difference with this is
New Haven's just not big enough.
It's the
really.
100 biggest cities.
Yeah, I don't know. New Haven, I want to say, like, they claim to have like the original pizzeria or something.
Right.
So there's like New Haven style, right?
All
Which is like closer up to Boston, but maybe Boston just kind of overtook it. But I know New Haven is, I think they're famous for that. And I want to say they might have had the first hamburger place.
Okay. I did not know that. But yeah, I mean, the text lines, everyone's like New Haven, Connecticut.
But as far as the I-95 corridor or Jersey Shore all the way up through, New York, Philadelphia, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, that is a strong pizza-making area in this country.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so many different styles. You got to, you know what I mean? I think it's also up to people kind of, depends on what you like.
That's it. All right, there you go. Let's see. Coming up, we'll drink and toast with a shot of the day. You are listening to The Men's Room.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You're working from home. You settle in with a cup of coffee, ready to get the day started. Before you look at that to-do list, turn on your favorite Odyssey sports station on your smart speaker. We'll keep you company and bring you the latest updates from your teams while you tackle your inbox or get ready for another meeting that probably could have been an email. Power through the workday with the entertaining sports coverage you love from the local voices you trust. Just ask your smart speaker to play your favorite station.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, coming up in minutes, we'll drink and toast with a shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check on Mike Hogg and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Mike, before we get to you, we were just talking about the top 10 pizza cities in the United States. One of them was the fine city of Denver. Then we got this text. Denver pizza sucks. Massive crust with tons of toppings. You're supposed to dip in honey. You can't pick it up and eat it. That from our former KISW engineer, Chaz.
Who moved out to Denver.
So I was like, hey, man, what's up? Sorry, your pizza sucks. And he says, look up Bojo's Pizza. It's not good. That's the official quote, Colorado style. There's some other good spots, though. Miss you guys. And Mike, you pulled up a picture of it.
I did.
It's too much.
It looks very crusty.
BEAU Bojo's.
Oh, yep. I see what he's talking about.
I'm sure it tastes good, but my pizza experience, I want to just, like, if I get Chicago deep dish, I know what I'm doing.
Well, have you guys ever gotten from Papa Murphy's those, like, stuffed pizzas?
Yes.
Kind of like the double layer. That's what this looks like,
But I
only
don't
it's meant
think
to be
it's
the
stuffed.
entire pizza. No, I don't think it is
Right.
either.
It's just bread.
I think it's just a big old puffy pizza. And like I said, I'm a crust guy. I don't mind that. However, that's not an every time pizza.
No, I'd be pissed if my pizza had that much crust.
If that's the only pizza that I got,
It's 30% of the pizza.
You start going to the chain pizzas at that point. Like, no, I'm out. I'm out.
I'm done.
All right. Thank you, Miles. According to a new study, exposure to heavy metals could increase your risk of cardiovascular disease.
Ride the tiger.
Somebody put Sammy Hagar away. Yeah. Raising blood pressures. We are not doing good.
Have we found what heavy metals are good for us?
Right? Construction?
I mean, but like the interior of your body. Like every study, heavy metals, like yeah, we know they're not awesome for us. This is not news, but cool. Keep letting us know.
Let's see. What good does heavy metals do for us? The AI overview. They have many uses and can be beneficial in some ways, but they also can be toxic if present in excessive amounts.
Yeah.
Some of them do have essential nutrients like iron, copper, zinc, manganese. Yeah. So, I mean, there's some good to it,
but it's the chromium and stuff.
That's right. Keep it light. Chromium. The governor of California just passed a law banning plastic bags in grocery stores.
I mean, it kind of works, but it doesn't.
Right.
Because I did it here in the city a couple years ago, and still a couple places I go, like, here is your plastic bag.
Correct. Which I wonder if it's one of those deals where as long as we ban it and say that you're not allowed to, it takes away about 90% of it.
It does take away a lot. It's usually the independent-owned places slide to the plastic bag.
No matter what I do, I can put... I did use a bag last week, but even if I put it in my trunk,
yeah,
I have them in my car. Mm-hmm. When I walk into the grocery store, I just never think to get in there and grab those bags and just sit in there.
I've gotten good at it. I finally started doing it. Now, I will still forget from time to time, but you've got to stop thinking, I'm just going in for a couple things. No, grab a bag.
Grab a bag, man.
Always grab the bag. Now, I like it. I actually do like having my reusable bags because now they're universal. Remember we all had that plastic bag that was full of plastic bags when we were younger.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't need to keep on getting bigger. Now you've just got bag.
Well, they used to be for dog poop, but now they have dog poop specific bags.
Yeah,
so.
No kidding.
Plus, I mean, I know it's a stereotype, but you just had to keep the nest ton of them underneath your sink.
Right.
Everybody
all the time.
did. You didn't even have to ask. You could go to someone else's house. Do you have any plastic bags? If they said yes, you knew exactly where to go to get them.
Now, I'm saying all this. I still do have a handful of plastic bags because...
I do too.
If you need it to be disposable, that really helps.
Mm-hmm.
That really helps. According to a new survey, many people suffer from pre-trip anxieties before a vacation, and it's the usual stuff.
Like what?
Did I unplug the right things? Did we pack everything? Did I get everything that I was supposed to? Did I lock the door on the way out? The people that are watching the house, and they're going to be burglary, blah, blah, blah.
I can honestly say that stress never bugs me because I always have the same philosophy. My wife always packs the kids because kids pack terribly. That's understood. And then for us, I'm like, babe, if we forgot to pack something, we'll just buy it.
Correct.
Because we're not bringing anything with us that's so expensive. Like if we need to buy toothbrushes,
correct,
I will cover that cost. Mm-hmm. We're not like packing a Ferrari.
No kidding.
Whatever it is that we didn't pack, like we didn't forget all of our clothes.
Right.
So even if you forgot some nice shoes, well, you're in luck. Actually, I shouldn't say that out loud.
Yeah,
because she'll play my ass.
That's right.
Oh, we're going to that wedding. I forgot to pack my shoes.
We have
to go to Nordstrom.
Let's go. There's been many an auctioneer that has come home with several pairs of shoes because they forget to pack them on the way out there.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I would just think with something like that, man.
My cousin had like 6 pairs of shoes at one point because he kept traveling to these auctions and forgetting to bring his shoes.
Yeah, I would say dress socks I've definitely forgotten for a wedding.
Yes.
And an undershirt I forgot.
Yes.
Right, which depending how sweaty you get, that makes a huge
Right, I'm a sweaty
difference.
dude. So like if I'm wearing a button-up, almost always I will have an undershirt on underneath.
I will always have an awkward second whenever I pack my bag. If I'm traveling for any one of these things, I will have an awkward moment where I stand there and stare at my bag, mentally dressing myself. Like, okay, do I have my socks?
everything?
Do I have my shoes? Do I have my pants? Do I have underwear? Do I have my shirt, my undershirt, my dress shirt, my vest and tie, jacket? Okay, we're good to go.
I always do the day count and then add one. If we're gone for 7 days, 7 pairs of underwear, let me grab an 8th.
I'm about to say.
7 shirts, let me grab an 8th.
Just in case I crap myself and fall into a puddle.
That's the only time I worry about essing myself is if I'm going out of town. Just in case I poop myself, I got another pair of underwear.
It's the truth, though, or sometimes even if it's just a warm environment you're going to.
Yeah.
I might get a little swampy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm going to bring extra underwear. Yeah, I'll tell you the other one I do is I pack my bathing suit wherever I go.
Just keep it in the bag?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe the hotel has a pool.
About to say, you're a man that likes to get into water, too, so you're always at the ready.
I try to be.
I try to find hotels that have pools. Just for that.
Yep.
It's time to it's time to start the days of fall, and I think it's time that people learn a little bit about one of our own favorite seasons. If I just... Come on, work with me, doggone it. This is the second time in a row.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
10 things you didn't know about fall. The autumnal equinox. Fall is my favorite time of year. The nights are longer. I can give 2
two less F's about most things in general. Sitting in a rustic cabin on a mountainside with a roaring fire and a big bottle of brown. And just me, my trusty Labrador, and my oh so positive thoughts.
Dear God. Thank you, VD. So these are 10 things that you didn't know about autumn. So let's learn together here, folks. They say autumn is the season of love. Whilst February might have the reputation of being the month of love, the autumn season actually sees a spike in romance. During autumn, sex drives in both men and women are higher than every other time of the year, with men finding women the most attractive during these months due to their increased production of testosterone.
See, I would think it'd be spring. For like spring is sprung,
right?
Sun's coming out.
I mean, that goes back to Bambi, man. That's when your Twitter pated.
Yeah.
I mean, am I like an animal?
Yes.
Like, right, because I feel like elk and stuff are in the rut right now, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like you chill out for the winter. So it's like, I got to go out there and have some sex and then chill all winter.
See, I think it's just the sweaters.
Or maybe it's getting cool outside, so you're spending more time
sweaters.
inside together. And it's like, let's have sex. We're both here at home.
We're both here.
You know? Like in the summertime, we're outside, we're doing stuff, but fall rolls around, man. And
the season of yoga pants and Ugg boots and nice sweaters.
New TV shows are coming on football
That's a fact.
season, so
Getting
people
cozy.
are gathered in their living rooms
That's
again.
right.
Hey, man, commercial break. Let's have sex.
You're eating a whole lot inside. There's a lot of sweet treats.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not do anything. Let's just
have sex.
Just go to the bedroom real quick.
Get back out before halftime's up.
Give me another beer. I'm ready to rock and roll.
I mean, that is an ideal day. Football, sex, food, couple beers. Like, I'll take it.
She's in the kitchen baking, just loving it, making the nice cookies.
I let her watch. Mike's got her in the kitchen baking.
No, she wants to. I've got the TV in there in the kitchen with her. Dude, honestly, one of the best winters that I ever had, I literally had my easy chair. I moved it from the living room over to the kitchen because we set up a TV in the kitchen so that she and her mom could bake cookies while we watched Red Zone, and I watched it through there, and I was getting cookies. I was there next to the liquor cabinet.
I'll take it.
Dude,
that's not bad at all.
Royalty that day, man. It was great. Discussing autumn and animals. Says we've never really thought about a squirrel's brain capacity until now.
No, I have not.
During the autumn season, squirrels allegedly become smarter. Although these little fellas seem pretty content with the simple things in life, during autumn, squirrels can actually show a 15% increase in the size of their hippocampus.
Also, they're very busy right now.
That's
These ones in my neighborhood, they're getting all ready to pack it all up and get ready for the winter months. So they're like building the nest bigger. Nuts are they're digging holes.
That's exactly what they say. They say as autumn is the prime time for a squirrel to find nuts and seeds to store away for the barren winter months, this little critter has to be on top of his game and to find the best picks. It also says some animals can't stand autumn. In fact, the monarch butterfly dislikes it so much that it'll fly south from America to the warmth of Mexico and parts of California at speeds between 12 and 25 miles an hour.
A butterfly.
Huh. Probably because it's going to freeze to death.
Yeah.
Damn cold out here.
But squirrels don't hibernate, right?
Yes.
Do they?
I believe so.
I think so. You know what? Now that you ask, I don't know.
Like, I know they're storing stuff because there's not as many acorns and everything, but, like, do they... I feel like they're still out running around.
I don't think they hibernate for terribly long, but I do think they do. Because I feel like you do see them in the colder months kind of chipping around out there.
Sure.
But then there's a swing there where you really don't see any action out there. There's no little critter just bouncing through the snow.
They do not hibernate.
Okay, I'm stupid. This newsman knows nothing. Bobbing for apples is a British invention. Again, these are things that you didn't know about autumn.
Did somebody like spill a basket of apples into something with water? Like, it's a game, kids.
So, it says, although the modern version is now typically played by people bobbing into buckets of water to catch an apple with their mouth, the original game was actually once a British courting ritual. Males were assigned an apple, whilst the female would bob for them, hoping to get the right apple from the man that she wanted. If she did, it was a sign that they were destined to be together.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that is. Yeah.
You can't read bobbing without just going.
Are people still doing that?
Bobbing for apples?
Like, do kids still do that? Like, when I was a kid, I feel like
it was a thing,
right? And if like somebody had a birthday party in the fall, I feel like that was just what you did,
or something at school, like their fall festival or whatever. Kids would line up to go dip their head in there to get an apple. I wasn't like a big apple kid, so I'm like, hell no.
I feel like we did it once. with my family, just because my aunt was big into parties and bobbing for apples was one thing that did happen. But I feel like I was really young, and then it just never happened again. I never saw it surface again.
Yeah,
let's bring it back, Ted.
I remember doing it at school at one of those things. It was like the Christmas bazaar or something, like in October.
Right.
And then like
somehow there was hay on your gym floor.
Yeah, and then there's always like one kid in your class that like the parents had like a lot of activities at the birthday, and his was in the fall. So I feel like at his house we always bob for apples.
Hell yeah. They say Greeks had their own ideas about autumn. Says Greeks actually had a more tragic explanation of what's going on during autumn. So according to Greek mythology, autumn began when Persephone, the daughter of the goddess of nature and harvest, was kidnapped by Hades, the god of the underworld. Hades became enamored with Persephone and wanted her to be queen of the underworld alongside him. However, she was so upset that she caused all the crops to die. It wasn't until Hades returned her to her mother that life began to creep back into plants, marking the start of spring.
Doesn't Greece also have one of the least variances in seasons of any country in the world based on the Mediterranean climate? The fact that it'll shift a little bit temperature-wise, but it's not crazy. It's not that every once in a while it won't snow there.
But it's still killed the crops.
Like yeah, right. Yeah, they still have seasons.
Yeah.
Miles, I just found out today that squirrels do not hibernate, so I'm not going to weigh in.
Oh no, they're in the snow all the time, man. It's out there.
I read a little more. Basically, the squirrel doesn't have to hibernate because they store enough food and they have enough fat supplies. Whereas like the hedgehog is tinier, so he's like, I got to take a nap for like 3 months.
Right, I got to sleep this off, guys.
Yeah. Just resting my eyes.
Autumn babies live longer. Congratulations to all those autumn babies. Babies are going to live longer. They found that 30% of U.S. centenarians born during 1880 and 1895 were born in the autumn season. One of the theories for this is because autumn marks a change in temperature. Babies born in colder months can therefore develop a greater immunity to colds and flus. Some also believe simply that cold, crisp autumn air is good for the constitution, resulting in the child growing up with strong health, although this may simply be an old wives' tale. Because, to be honest with you, you're kept inside, you're not out in the elements, and then, honestly, after a year, you're just in the same with everybody else. Yeah. So, yeah. Did you guys know that the term fall is not exclusive to America? Although the Brits might turn up their noses at the fellow Americans who have labeled the autumn season fall, it was actually a fairly common term in England up until relatively recently. The phrase was commonly used in England up until the 17th century, derived from, unsurprisingly, the shortening of the phrase fall of the leaf.
All right. I mean, that makes sense. I just like calling it autumn because it sounds fancy.
It does sound fancier than fall, but the Brits, the falling of the leaf. Yeah, well, let's just call it fall, guys.
Do you know what other name it used to go by?
Autumn, fall.
Autumn, fall.
It was once called harvest.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That makes absolute sense.
During the 12th and 13th centuries in England, autumn was known as harfest, or in today's spelling, harvest. One of the reasons it earned its name is because, what do you know, full moon nearest to the autumn equinox is called the harvest moon.
Mm-hmm.
So, congratulations there. And then this is your last little
basically
factoid.
like you got to get all the crops out.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because it's going to get too... Once they frost, it's done.
Do what the squirrels are doing. That's basically it.
Yeah, be a squirrel.
Time to squirrel away. And then this is the number one thing you might not have known about fall. God, it, Miles. The autumn equinox is different each and every year. Whilst the autumn equinox happens every September, each year it lands on a different date, normally either the 22nd or 23rd. The equinox is when the sun is directly in line with the Earth's celestial equator, meaning day and night are of equal length. The reason why the equinox falls on a different date each year is because the Gregorian calendar only counts 365 days a year rather than the 365.25 days the Earth actually takes to orbit the sun. So there you go. Some things you didn't know about autumn. A man in New Jersey faces charges for getting into collision on an e-bike, but he didn't hit a person, Miles.
What did he hit, Mike?
I'll tell you all about it at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contest on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK. All right, if we made it to drinking time.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance, too, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You're working from home. You settle in with a cup of coffee, ready to get the day started. Before you look at that to-do list, turn on your favorite Odyssey sports station on your smart speaker. We'll keep you company and bring you the latest updates from your teams while you tackle your inbox or get ready for another meeting that probably could have been an email. Power through the workday with the entertaining sports coverage you love from the local voices you trust. Just ask your smart speaker to play your favorite station.
American Giant makes great clothing. T-shirts, jeans, and more right here in the U.S., creating jobs in towns and cities across the country. Support America's workers and get 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com with code STAPLE20.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You're working from home. You settle in with a cup of coffee, ready to get the day started. Before you look at that to-do list, turn on your favorite Odyssey sports station on your smart speaker. We'll keep you company and bring you the latest updates from your teams while you tackle your inbox or get ready for another meeting that probably could have been an email. Power through the workday with the entertaining sports coverage you love from the local voices you trust. Just ask your smart speaker to play your favorite station.
Hey, anyone know what channel the game's on? We know. Download the Sports on What app today and always know how to watch the game. Satellite, cable, or streaming. Sports on What knows the channel the game is on, and you can too. Subscribe today to start your 7-day free trial. Sports on What? We know.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the men's room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Big time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Stephen Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed, and today we toast Major League Baseball's Chicago White Sox. Now, whether you knew this or not, this past Saturday, the White Sox tied the American League record of 119 losses in a single season. That was set previously back in 2003 with the Detroit Tigers. Well, yesterday, the Sox were facing the San Diego Padres, and in the 8th inning, they were Sox. They were up 2-1. But the White Sox, they're going to White Sox. So they gave up 3 runs and ended up losing their 120th game, tying the modern-day record. But there is work to do. You see, with 6 games left, the White Sox have the opportunity to break that record and be recognized for what they've truly achieved, being the single worst team in Major League Baseball modern history. Now, there's one thing about this. Keep in mind, in Major League Baseball, modern history begins in 1900. 124 years ago, no one has been this bad in the history of Major League Baseball. So it's got to be based on
percentage loss.
Correct.
With number of games played.
And keep in mind, they've had since 1900. So they're the first team of 124 years. They've tied both the American League and the MLB record. And again, they have 6 games left. If they drop any one of those, which they will be the worst team historically.
Have you guys been looking at the Chicago White Sox Twitter? You know how teams, when the graphics go up there after the game's over, they'll either tell you what the score is or they'll just say final and they'll show you what the final score is. They have gotten so used to getting losses to where they're not excited about posting final scores that they switched it up. So they started doing stuff like final can be found on the MLB app. Final. The number of runs we scored was not greater than the number of runs they scored. Final. The opposing team scored more than we did.
Damn.
Okay. That's brutal. Well, they're keeping it honest.
Yeah, man. And that is where they are at. All right, bitches, let's drink. We pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy.
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The men's room presents Profile This.
I gotta wonder if they go to that game just to watch them lose. Like if they have a record attendance that people.
I mean, wouldn't you, if you lived there, even if you're a fan and this has been a horribly devastating season at this point, remember when the Detroit Lions were the first team to go 0-16 in the NFL? And I want to say one of their bigger attended games was that final game because at that point, the Lions fans were like, look, man, this hasn't been a great season, but I want to be here for history if that's what the team's going to do. Yeah.
All right, Steve the Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
Oh, I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Tony. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bichola.
Hola. All right, Tony, you understand how this year game is played?
Yes, I do. And Thrill, hey, I just got to say, I still have this game. I'm holding on to it, and I'm opening up for offers. I still have a game from you guys, Black, White, Mexier, Jew. I still have the board game. So just throwing it out there. I'm taking offers if anybody wants it.
Hey, man, I'm glad you picked that game up while it was still available, because I'm telling every year around Christmas when we mentioned that it was out there, people went to looking for it. So I'm glad you found it. All right,
yes,
Tony.
Sir. And Ted, LARP on, brother.
LARP on. Love it.
All right, Tony, well, you have your choice of one of three categories today, of course. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? Interior decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone. And finally, today we offer you Animalize This, where you guess the animal responsible for causing the problem.
I got Animalize This wrong last time, so let's give it another shot.
All right, your story. We go to suburban Detroit, where a library there was closed this morning after a DVD case in the return bin was found to be filled with what they call stowaway creatures. The Royal Oak Public Library said that the library was closed Saturday, Sunday, and Monday morning after multiple critters were found inside of a DVD case that was dropped in the book return bin. The Post said, quote, "The DVD was returned sometime after we closed on Friday and before we opened on Saturday, so nothing prior to that would have been affected. The book drops were immediately locked and all items in those book drops were bagged up and isolated in our garage." And then a follow-up post earlier this morning said the facility had finally been given the all-clear by a pest control company and they'd reopen later. Quote, "We receive monthly pest inspections of the building, so you should not have any worries about coming to the library, other than the fact that we closed it down for 3 days." So, that said, what were the critters that found a way into the library via the DVD case? Was it cockroaches? Was it snakes? Was it spiders? Or was it bats? So roaches, snakes, spiders, or bats, what found their way into the suburban Detroit library?
So it just crawled in through the DVD slot. It wasn't returned in a DVD case.
They say it was returned in a DVD case, so they're not sure if this person was just that filthy. I do not know if there was also a DVD in there or if they intentionally put the critters in there so that they could walk through the library.
Okay, I got an idea. How about our Miles? What you thinking there, big guy?
Just based on an infestation, I think cockroaches.
Okay. Ted, what you got, brother?
Yeah, I'm right there with Miles, because he did say infestation and, there shouldn't be any more of these around. But anybody that's ever seen a cockroach somewhere knows there's more of them somewhere.
There are more of them around, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you guys. I was going to go a different way, but let's just play it safe. Let's go cockroaches, boys.
Cockroaches.
There we go. Let's team up.
What was in this DVD case? Cockroaches, snakes, spiders, or bats? We'll find out next.
That was a tease.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You're working from home. You settle in with a cup of coffee, ready to get the day started. Before you look at that to-do list, turn on your favorite Odyssey sports station on your smart speaker. We'll keep you company and bring you the latest updates from your teams while you tackle your inbox or get ready for another meeting that probably could have been an email. Power through the workday with the entertaining sports coverage you love from the local voices you trust. Just ask your smart speaker to play your favorite station.
Are you looking for the powerful roar of a work truck, the quiet performance of an EV, or the creature comforts of a hybrid SUV? Whatever you need, the best place to see them, touch them, and drive them is at the Seattle International Auto Show, presented by BECU. Test drives, demonstrations, and information all under one roof. Live at Lumen Field Event Center, Thursday through Sunday, November 14 through 17. Discover your drive. For tickets and info, visit SeattleAutoShow.com today.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories Analyze This on Profile List. We got a Detroit library that was closed for 3 days after a returned DVD case contained some type of creature. So, did it contain cockroaches, snakes, spiders, or bats?
And Tony, that is the very question that we posed to you, but all of your minds, they synced up and you all went with Le Cucaracha. Whoops. That was a Star Wars thing.
Okay.
It was cockroaches.
Nice job. Nice job.
Yes, indeed. It was cockroaches. Yeah, that's they still don't know if someone did it on purpose.
I don't think so. I just think they crawled in from their home and decided it was nice and dark. And God, whatever they're looking for, they found it.
Yeah, surprise at the book return, man.
I just wonder what the movie was. Now, for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
Yes.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Well, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't start out by saying, Dolphins had some injuries and stuff, but Seahawks are 3-0.
3-0, man.
Yeah, stacking wins.
Wins a win.
I was going to say, saw your Ravens beat the Cowboys yesterday. Held on.
Barely.
Because it's a 60-minute game and not 61.
Yeah.
Like I said, my son, he had volleyball practice, so he begged me not to watch the game without him. I said, fine. So we recorded the game. He gets home around, 4:30 or something, whatever. We start watching the game. It's looking real good. We get up to halftime. Ravens are up 21-6. But the game is still on in real time upstairs. So he goes, hey, if it's cool with you, let's go finish it upstairs. Go, no problem. We go up there. It's now 28-22 or 25 with like maybe 3 minutes left. And we're looking at each other like, what in the F happened?
Then you went back downstairs to watch and see what happened.
Well, no, I didn't even want to see what happened. We don't have a fourth quarter defense. Ask the Raiders. Ask Cowboys.
Well, and it's funny, too, is I didn't even really think about it, but the connection with the Ravens and the Seahawks now because Coach McDonald.
Yeah.
But it's funny, a lot of people, I've seen some tweets from Ravens fans that are like, why didn't we just keep him?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, but John Harbaugh, to me, is still a good coach. He's just been there forever, so it's easy to see where they could have moved him upstairs or something and kept McDonald.
Yeah. They could have. But again, McDonald, keep in mind, Jim Harbaugh, because he was at Michigan first with Jim. And then when John, Ravens coach, was looking for a defensive coordinator, Jim said, dude, you want this guy. This guy's mind is about 3 years ahead of the other guys. John Harbaugh brought him on. Now, obviously, he's here in Seattle.
Well, he was with the Ravens, then
went to Michigan.
Then went to Michigan.
Okay.
And then basically, was the DC at Michigan, and they're like, all right, you've done a good enough job. Now you can kind of be a higher role in the NFL.
I think he deserves the head coaching job, man. I do.
Are they playing any Doobie Brothers and Michael McDonald down at Lumen during the breaks?
I mean, they should.
You don't know me, but I'm your brother. This just goes nuts.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I was raised here.
Yeah, but I mean, good on the Seahawks. They're getting it done. A lot of, I feel like by week 3, you kind of figure out sort of who teams are.
Sort of.
That first couple of weeks is always odd. I never really thought the Ravens were going to, they're still high on a lot of people's lists, right? They are. But the fourth quarter defense has been a little bit of an issue for them.
A little bit.
The last couple of years. The Chiefs don't look that great, but
they never do.
They never really do in the regular season anymore.
Just enough to beat you, but it translates to Super Bowls, right? They rarely go in there and beat the piss out of anybody, but they figure you out as the game goes on. They do just enough to piss you off, and then they win the game.
Yep.
Look at the Saints. Saints came out fired up the first 2 weeks. You couldn't stop that offense. They put up, maybe 10 points yesterday?
Yeah.
What's our boy down in Tampa Bay? Baker Mayfield, right? Been playing loose, man. He's got his ass kicked yesterday.
Andy Dalton's playing loose.
Yeah, Andy Dalton, meanwhile, was like, I ain't here forever.
I'm on fire.
Our team sucks. I got
not only
nothing
my
to lose.
hair, but my arm.
Yeah, I'd say with college, I was watching some of that Cougars game on Friday night.
Wow, what a great game.
It was. It's just amazing how they, when I first moved here, you'd always hear the term couganing, right? Like blowing a lead or whatever. Yeah. But it's just, I sat there, I said, Taryn, how do they do this week in and week out? Why do they always make it this exciting? And I get it, right? Maryland's had a bunch of coaches. We always have too many penalties and lose to teams we shouldn't, right? And I go, even though the coaches change, it just seems like the Cougs, it's like they don't just go out and blow somebody out. They got to we got a good lead. Let's let them back into it. Let's miss an extra point, 2-point conversion, and trot out that kicker to win the game.
Is he the result of a few years with Sebastian's run here with the Seahawks? In other words, timing wise, you go back 15.
I don't think
is he related? Is that his son?
I don't think timing wise it works out for his kid to be that. If the kid was born somewhere else, maybe. But I don't think timing wise, because Janikowski.
Yeah, still. I'm saying, like, is he here as a result of his dad playing for the Seahawks?
Is that his dad?
I don't know.
I just thought that.
How many Janikowskis kick?
Right. Two.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Maybe they just said, hey, Sebastian.
That's dad, right?
I don't know if that's actually his son. Maybe
I don't know either. I just assume, look, if you can kick the ball that well and your name is Janikowski.
How is he built?
I mean, his dad was
probably
a
the
big
thickest kicker I've seen, man.
Yeah, it is interesting. But I also like it, too. That's a college overtime. To me, it's more even. It's fair.
Sure.
You each get chances, this and that. And then I like the fact that, he missed an extra point badly. I was like, trot him back out there. He'll make this one.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Fred, you got any info there, Mike?
Almost there. Oh, they are not related.
They're not related.
They're not related. Just some random ass Janikowskis.
That's right. Dean and Sebastian Janikowski are not related.
Huh. That is wild.
Wow.
That is wild. I just assumed.
Huh. Kicker with last name Janikowski.
Yeah.
According to Cougar's website, Dean's parents are lecturers, while his siblings are man and Jay. There are no familial ties to the place kicker.
Yeah.
Maybe when he was a kid, he saw the other Janikowski and was like, I'm a Janikowski. I'm going to go kick.
I can do that.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of Smiths be good at basketball, but it didn't help me. All right. So Friends is coming up on their 30th anniversary. The series premiered September 22nd, 1994, lasted 10 seasons until the finale in 2004. If you're into astrology and Friends, which I know everybody in this room is.
Oh, clearly.
People magazine determined which character relates to each of the 12 zodiac signs. The only issue is that, right, there's the Friends cast. Some of these other characters that they used on this list are pretty, low characters. You wouldn't...
Unless you're
like people just made a
Friends.
two-time appearance, whatever.
For instance, if you're a Cancer, the character you're connected to is Mr. Heckles. This guy was the downstairs neighbor that would bang a broom on the ceiling if they were being too noisy.
Okay.
So, it comes up, but, you never really see him, or it's not like a huge interaction. It's just every once in a while he would do it. If you're an Aries, you get to be Chandler Bing.
That would be me.
I could see you with some Chandler energy.
Okay, well, he's dead now, Ted. I don't appreciate that.
Well, the actor is. The character will live forever. I'm so bad with astrology. I don't even know.
I don't know what that. You need one
I know mine.
What the characteristics are. I have no idea.
Taurus. Anybody in here a Taurus?
My son's a Taurus.
I'll guess the guy who played the painted hockey face guy.
No. Rachel Green.
Oh, let my son know that.
Yeah, tell him he's just like Rachel.
See Jennifer Aniston? Yeah, you're just like her. Well, her character, anyway.
She was kind of the main character, I feel like, for a lot of that show.
Well, she as an actress blew up, yeah.
Let's see. Geminis, you get to be Mr. Trigger. He was the super of the building the characters lived in. You see him once in a while. Leos, you get Mike Hannigan. If you don't know who that is, it was Paul Rudd's character who eventually married Phoebe.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Virgos, you get to be Monica Geller, which kind of adds up. If you're a Libra, you get to be her brother, Ross Geller.
That's my dad. They're very similar.
I mean, I'd go back and watch some of the show just to see how it matches up.
I mean, looking at these traits, as you're naming them off, they fit. So you said Libra was Ross Geller, right? Well, the traits they say are indecisive, they're fair, idealistic, diplomatic, romantic, intellectual. Kind of feels like Ross.
All right.
Meanwhile, you go with the Virgos, perfectionism, analytical, hardworking, attention to detail. Very Monica Geller.
That is pretty spot on,
right?
Right, because for a while she was like a pastry chef and this and that.
Yep.
And she was always very specific and everything, so that works. I really just fired up about the Capricorn. I got Joey Tribbiani.
That's about right.
Yeah, he's better looking than I am, but
ambitious, sensitive, honest, hardworking, disciplined, loyal.
Yeah.
Like sandwiches.
I do like a sandwich, right? How you doing? Scorpios, they got Gunther. That's
the coffee shop guy.
Yeah, the dude that worked at the coffee shop that was always pining after Rachel.
Secretive, intuitive, obsessive, ambitious, jealous, passionate. Brave, emotional.
Secretive's the first thing I think about when I think about you.
Damn right.
Oh, all the time.
I barely know anything about you.
I am a wall of mystery.
Yeah, we even say Mike if that's really his name. That's what we talk about.
Secretive, that little SOB.
You don't know what you don't know.
Sagittarius, I think, gets the worst one. You get Janice. If you don't remember who Janice was, she's the one that had the horrible laugh.
Oh, my gosh, Chandler.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's, what's her name? The nanny, right?
Is it Dresser?
I think it's Fran Dresser
Fran
before
Dresser.
she's like the nanny, right? And her... It's just funny because all those episodes, they're like, not her again.
Right.
Yeah, we're trying it again. Blah, blah, blah. Aquarius, you got to be Phoebe. Let's see. Which makes... I should say that makes sense. Mike, what's an Aquarius?
Humanitarian, intelligent, innovative, creative, independent, open-minded, intellectual, extremist.
I mean, that makes
optimistic.
That makes sense. She was the only one that really played an instrument and used to perform.
Exactly.
Smelly Cat was a banger.
And she was also loved animals and was a kind of animal rights there, so that makes sense.
Yep. And then Pisces, you got to be Richard Burke. That was the guy who played Monica's older boyfriend, Tom Selleck.
Oh, okay.
Tom Selleck.
Creative, adaptable, dreamy.
He was on that. He was on that show for maybe a season. It might have been 2, and it was like a weird story too. Like, you know what I mean? He was. I think it was like her dad's friend or whatever. Then she runs into him at some event she's working, and they start like, you know, they start dating. They're all adults at this point,
Right.
but it's also funny because he's so much older, and it's still Tom Selleck. That like all the other guys on the show kind of had men crushes on him. So like Chandler and Joey started growing mustaches and like smoking cigars. And Monica was like, "What are you guys doing?" And they were like, "Well, he's just cool. We kind of want to look like him."
He does have a badass mustache. I think he had one of the best in the game.
Tom Selleck?
You bet.
I mean, I don't know of another person that comes to mind. If you just said
like Jeff Fisher's
mustache.
in there. Remember the old coach of the Rams?
Yeah.
He is, but he's not as worldwide superstar as Tom Selleck.
Ron Swanson.
Swanson's is up there.
Great mustache.
Right.
Is definitely up there, but
Burt Reynolds was notorious for his mustache for a while.
He did have a decent mustache back
He
in
did,
the day.
man. I mean, he was a product of the 70s. Like, I got a hairy chest and a mustache. Ladies, is there anything else you'd like? And the answer, by the way, for that decade, no.
I mean, for different reasons, and he's known for different things, but I'd also put Sam Elliott up there for having a damn fine mustache.
He does have.
He knows how to grow it, man. He's got some facial hair.
Oh, don't think for 1 minute women don't love him.
Oh,
I mean, if you're a Sam Elliott fan, you're all in. It's like your grandma, but she is sold.
yeah, and I think he's most famous for maybe Big Lebowski, just sitting at the bar talking to the dude.
Yep.
But like, and look, he's been in a ton of movies, but honestly,
it's what's for dinner.
Yeah. Beef. And then I remember there's this famous scene in Gettysburg, which is a 3-hour movie.
God.
And he's like running the cavalry and he's like penning a letter, but it's just his voice as he pens it. And you know how, like, I don't know how to describe it, but that guy does such a good job of, like, being upset.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, the Rebs will be in here by the morning. I just always remember that scene. So I think of Sam Elliott. I'm like, he's on our team.
You've been seeing him during the football games for the, what is it? USAA.
There you go, yeah. With Gronk.
Yeah. I'm not Sam Elliott. Well, I'm a former veteran myself.
Yeah, you know, and there's been a lot of stuff about Gronk lately that, like, right, like, you know, because now I want to say he's over at CBS doing stuff before he was at Fox.
Yeah.
And he is a giant dude. But I think part of it was they kind of made him seem dumber or whatever. That's one of the arguments going on out there. I don't think he's really dumb, right? Like, he never cashed game checks. He just used the money he got from endorsements, this and that. I think he is a fun-loving bro.
But not stupid.
But not stupid.
But that was also the talking point during the Tom Brady roast, too, is everybody had a comment about how he was stupid. But I agree with you. I don't think he's near as dumb as everybody lets on.
Right. Now I'm going to...
bro from Jersey.
Right. I'm going to do the complete opposite of that, though, and say... I do think him playing kind of stupid in those USAA commercials with Sam Elliott work out great. I'm like, that's a funny, weird, random duo.
By the way, people are chiming in on great mustaches. Oh, yeah. A few that we forgot. Lieutenant Dangle.
Oh.
Reno 911.
New boot scooting.
Hulk Hogan. Undeniable.
Of course.
Yep. Hawks had his forever.
And local legend. Steve Poole.
Ayo.
Yeah. Brother had
Steve
a tight.
Yeah,
he had a great
so
stash.
did Rabel for a number of years.
Rabel had a great one.
Until HD TV came around, he shaved it off.
Well, he said his wife told Rabel's an honest to God. All right.
Remember his mustache?
Oh, God.
Okay, so he had a mustache.
The first years we lived here, he was the man.
It was like,
And
when,
then,
it was like when Trebek shaved his off, everyone went, what?
Oh, my God.
Same thing with Rabel.
But it was for the same reason. And Rabel said his wife was like, babe, any hair that's out of place on HD, you can see. And I guess he basically, not quite nagged him about it, but he was just like, I just shaved it off.
You got 2 Monday Night Football games for you. Already in action over on ESPN. You got the Bills hosting the Jaguars. And then on ABC coming up, you'll have the Bengals hosting the Washington Commanders.
Come on, Commanders. I don't root for you much.
Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Police in New Jersey have enough time to, well, find a man who hit a goose on his e-bike. Meanwhile, a mummy's brain shows the cocaine back in the day they did like. Australian woman has already had sex with 400 different men just this year. A rhino has leg surgery and now can resume his roughhousing career. And Massachusetts town is following the trail of bullcrap. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
Our top story, we go to Hoboken, New Jersey, where a young man is facing charges. He was sought by police after he got into a collision with an e-bike, with witnesses alerting authorities about the incident, believing it to be intentional. He was eventually tracked down by police and arrested under the charge of cruelty and riding an e-bike on a walkway. As for his victim, no details were released about the goose that he supposedly intentionally ran into on the walkway. I know exactly why he did it, because geese are doggone self-righteous little boogers, and they just walk right in the middle of the road.
He's had experience with geese.
That's right.
What that tells me.
Man, when I was living in Issaquah, it was a weekly occurrence during whatever season where geese were just roaming across the street. Oh, they're migratory birds, so we have to preserve them. My ass. Lambaste one of those damn things, they'll stay out of the road. That's just my feeling. We don't have to go with that, though. I hate geese.
I can tell.
You can't tell, though.
Geese suck,
I can
dude.
tell.
I can't stand the damn things.
He's so secretive, but not about goose, goose hatred.
Goose hatred. In other news, authorities in Massachusetts had to do some clowning around to round up some escaped assets. See what I did there? Video was posted of 8 bulls escaping the rodeo at the Emerald Square Mall. We covered this earlier today. Nobody was injured in the incident, but as they ran amok, local police posted to social media urging anybody that sees the animals to immediately call 911 and not attempt to engage with nor wrangle the bulls themselves. Side note, if you do, you're just stupid on principle.
Or you're a cowboy. To think to yourself, you know what, babe, hold my beer. I'm going to go wrangle that bull.
Right.
That's the last thing he said to me.
That's
Did you see the video of them rolling out?
I did, dude.
There's nothing subtle. I mean, they crashed to the fence.
Right.
Then they crashed to the next one. That was it.
And it takes nothing.
And the rodeo bulls.
And I appreciate what you said, unless you're a cowboy. And yes, if you're a true cowboy.
Yeah, if you know how to lasso an animal, sure.
Correct. I'll harken back to my days in Sumner. There was they used to have these gulches out there that were used for like drainage and whatnot that would get overgrown, and they would bring goats out there that would live out there for like a week at a time to clean the place out.
Sure.
Well, eventually one of these goats found a way to jump up and out of the doggone fencing area. So eventually the entire neighborhood, myself included, we're sitting there trying to wrangle this thing back into and put it back in its pen as authorities arrive. And then here comes Mr. Cowboy. Man, I got this. All right. He goes to the cops, says, you want the head or the legs? Whichever you want. What do you know? This genius didn't know what the hell he was doing either, and the thing bucked him out of there. Idiot. Like, I get it. You like Yellowstone. That's fine. You're not a cowboy there, hoss. At the time the story broke, 7 out of the 8 bulls had been brought back in, with 1 still roaming in the area. So we will probably get an update on that one. We have an update on a different story. At the end of last year, we heard about a woman that set out and accomplished the mission to have sex with 365 people within a year. After climbing to the top of that mountain, she raised her own bar and declared on her to her Instagram followers that she was going to attempt to sleep with 600 people within a year. She's currently up over 400 as we turn the corner of fall, and usually just fished around on dating apps, but recently found a new well to tap: her Instagram following themselves. She put out the all call for anyone that wanted to have a spin, requiring them to go through testing and an application process before being accepted. She doesn't have to try very hard.
I was going to say, we looked at a picture of this woman, and she should just change how she angles this and says, I am going to have sex with 600 people. Not I'm going to try to.
Right. She does not need to try.
No, she doesn't. She just needs to be present.
Yeah.
If she said, hey, I'm trying to hit the goal. You want to say yes?
Yes.
Okay,
you know what? I'll help out.
Take my information. Here's my social security card.
I've already pre-tested. I was hoping I'd meet you here.
But just in case those stories left a bad taste in your mouth,
Thankfully, there's good news.
we go to the UK for a medical first. A southern white rhino at the local zoo known as Amara drew the attention of officials when she developed a limp in her front leg. Known for her rambunctious nature, they weren't positive what led to the limp, but you know what? She might be going out and playing with her cousins or brothers and sisters, whatever.
The rhinos.
Managed to damage herself there. But they needed to find a solution, seeking help in a local veterinarian who specializes in horses who share the same family as rhinos, believe it or not. They put Amara under anesthetic and completed a procedure that had never been done before on a rhino, surgically repairing the ulna in her front leg. They're doing their best to keep her gentle on the healing leg, but say that she's recovering very well. So you gotta love that. Rhino legs. Men's room sports. The Mariners had a good showing in Arlington over the weekend, taking 2 out of the 3 games in the series, losing the last one in a walk-off. They go down the road to Houston, where the division-leading Astros defend their home turf in a 3-game standoff. That game currently underway en route with Bryce Miller on the mound. The Mariners are currently 5 games back of the Astros. If by some miracle we sweep this series, we'll narrow that down to 2. If anything, it possibly improves our standing in the wild card race.
Correct.
In which they're 2 games back behind the Twins, the Tigers, and now the Royals, who have lost ground in that race. There's the last 2 wild card slots are still up for grabs at this point.
But that makes this exciting.
It really does.
You know, really, man, you get a much more vested interest in watching your team.
I just wish it wasn't Houston.
I know.
Everybody does.
You know,
I hate Houston. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
So we got a 3-game series with Houston, and then we've got a 3-game series with Oakland, which should help. So like I said, if by some miracle we sweep Houston, which we've done it in the past, I think we did it this season. So if we do it again, we might be setting ourselves up. So let's just see what happens. I'm not going to talk about it much more. In the WNBA playoffs, the Seattle Storm fell in their first game against the Las Vegas Aces. They'll look to even the odds when they play their next game tomorrow. Keep a lookout for that. Meanwhile, Sunday, your Seattle Seahawks put the screws to the Miami Dolphins. Geno Smith putting up 289 yards with a touchdown pass and 2 interceptions, going 26 for 34. DK Metcalf with a nice highlight reel touchdown catch. And Zach Charbonnet finding his wheels, rushing for 91 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Derek Hall of the defense finding his way beyond that front line to go in for 2 sacks and 4 tackles, a handful of touches on the quarterback as well, one of which for a loss. New head coach Mike McDonald goes 3-0 in his inaugural season as they set their sights on Detroit and Monday Night Football as they take on the Lions.
I like Charbonnet too, man. He was like laying the wood to people.
Yes,
it
sir.
really was. Pad level low, like even though like they couldn't get first downs in the third quarter, I was like, keep that up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Speaking of Monday Night Football, we got a double dose of it on tonight. The Jags and the Bills are underway on ESPN, and the Bengals and Commanders are currently underway as well over on ABC. As far as your weather, we got some partly cloudy skies tonight, cooling things down to right around 59, and tomorrow we can expect more partly cloudy skies with the temperature hitting 77. That is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Don't know if you know this, but tomorrow's National Kiss Day, so nothing but kiss on Sit and Spin. The lovely Jolene is up next.
Yes, indeed, it's all true. But in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch. So until next time, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
You're working from home. You settle in with a cup of coffee, ready to get the day started. Before you look at that to-do list, turn on your favorite Odyssey sports station on your smart speaker. We'll keep you company and bring you the latest updates from your teams while you tackle your inbox or get ready for another meeting that probably could have been an email. Power through the workday with the entertaining sports coverage you love from the local voices you trust. Just ask your smart speaker to play your favorite station.
It's hard to be a good parent, but of all the things you're doing to better your child's future, few are as important as keeping their vision sharp. MySight One Day are the only contact lenses that can correct and help protect your growing child's blurry vision from getting worse. Because while their future may be unclear, their vision shouldn't be. Learn more at MySight.com. MySight today, anything tomorrow. Ask your eye care practitioner if your child is a candidate for MySight One Day and review important safety information at MySight.com/safety.